That way I can try to make sure that I can
Good.
watch now. Show chat.
Oh wow, look at all we got some extra visibility here on our microphone levels, etc.
Oh, that's normally not there,
Chat.
but
Okay.
because I have to go through and hit all the echo cancellation buttons. Otherwise, that's where you get the feedback.
Got it.
But then I leave this open when I do the intro button. What was I doing? Oh yeah, content. Boom. Going.
So how do I
live.
turn off? So if I got Twitch and I just want to have the chat open,
Yes.
Bottom.
how do I not?
in the bottom right.
I have that popped out, but now
Okay.
I would like to not see the not have the audio or not have the visual.
Oh, I just closed the window.
So you can just close the Twitch with the pop out chat, and it will
Correct.
keep chatting.
Correct.
All right.
Then there's no confusion. It's just you and the people, and us, in the recording
Okay.
booth.
All right. Well, one of you guys type something in chat. Excellent.
Chat.
There we go. I have chat now. I
You
can
did
actually
it.
see what's going on.
You can actually.
Coffee. Hey, Swedish troll in the house.
Swedish troll in the house. We got a spicy one for you tonight, Coffee, for you to judge us. Not really. I mean, my parts might be spicy, but
It's not spicy.
oh my god, look at this! Look at this!
Spicy?
Look
It's
at
a
this!
spicy show? He
I'm
looks
doing
really
it.
cool. All
I'm
your
doing it.
yeah the
Oh come on!
So what was the
Focus.
scheme? Like, how did you?
So remember we were talking with Amon, and I was
Yeah.
like, Darth Vader's guard is black, aren't they? I was like, well, if I'm running
No,
501st,
I want to know how you did it. Like,
okay.
I remember the conversation. I just wanted to know, like, what was the?
that's the recipe.
By far easiest. God, I want to focus. There. Oh,
Worry about your focusing later and tell me how you did it.
okay. So, like, you like that shine? This
Is
is
it
a
just-
this is a completely dry model.
Yeah, that's
So
shiny.
did you just paint it black and then put the gloss coat on it, or?
So all I did Zenithal Prime, right? Because I prime everything Zenithal, and then the transparent black for Monument, I just slopped that shit on there, and then let that dry, and then I put null oil gloss, and that's all I did. That's all I have
Over
done
the
to
whole
these.
thing, or just over the armor?
Over the armor. On the clone troopers, it's easier because there's no like it doesn't have the padding and the pouches and all that stuff. But over like all the plastic armor pieces, I did that with the gloss stuff.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm actually really happy with it. I came out way better than I thought it was going to. I think they're super sick. I gotta touch up some parts.
Super sick, Dyzard.
It's that season. It's the time of the year.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I'm super happy with them. And with that almost being done, I'm 3/4 of the way done with the core box.
Nice.
All right.
I have everyone to build I'm not playing with.
That's fair. Okay. Are we? You want to do this? Want to get the show on the road?
I think we're probably ready.
Okay.
I don't really have to have anything prepared for this episode. I'm not doing the closing. I'm not doing an opening. I have nothing scheduled.
Well, I stole your chamber. I stole your chamber judgment.
That's fine. Steal away. I've
All right. Hitting the buttons.
You press those buttons.
Welcome, my young apprentice.
Stretch out with your feelings.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Welcome to Rogue Support, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. We are your hosts, Dyzard, Omnus, and Finger Guns. Our goal as a cast is to give you the support you need for your gaming needs, whether that be tactics, supplies, hobby ideas, or just some good old dad jokes. We are in your corner of the cantina. If you enjoy what you are listening to, be sure to leave a review and let us know how we are doing. As well, come hop in our Discord. There, you can show off your hobby talk, rules, I need a comma there, and tactics and anything Star Wars Shatterpoint related. The link will be in the description. Now open those blast doors and let's get on with the show. Oh my god, it's been a week. I guess 2 weeks for Sam, but a week since we had that bonus episode. Do we want to start this episode off with a big announcement, or do you want to save that till like the end, or just randomly throw it in here? What do you guys want to do?
Up to you. I'll roll with whatever you want, Dyzard. I do want to say, though,
Randomly
are all Star Wars dad jokes Vader jokes?
That one is.
I just think it's great that like I'm the only dad in this bunch, and I don't have a lockdown on the dad jokes. So
You don't even wear white New Balances when you mow the lawn. You're not a real dad.
touche.
All right, let's just go ahead and get into the Rogues Canteen, and I'll decide when we're going to do this announcement. Let's go ahead and start off with Sam. What are you
Me?
playing, painting, drinking, watching,
We haven't heard
whatever?
from
it
Sam
may
in
be?
2 weeks. We need
I
all
know.
like to be filled
That's
in
so funny,
on
right?
the two pews.
Right.
What's the two pews been up to?
The two pews has been going to concerts. That's been fun. I've gone to 2 concerts since the last time we had a show that I was on anyway. So that was cool.
Hitting up the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yep. Locally, I've still been playing my Padawan Ahsoka, Rex, Annie Obi with 212th and 501st. I've been playing a whole bunch of, even though I gave Kenny a bunch of crap for it last week, I've still been playing a lot of Vader Obi proxy stuff on TTS, and that's been really fun. I'm really liking that combination of people, even though it feels really weird. I'm drinking a vodka soda with lime. I have a really awesome beer that I'm going to crack into a little bit here, but liquor before beer, as they say. And the beer is called a Mortal Wombat, which is
Oh,
Wow.
a fun little dad
What kind of
joke
beer
play on
is it?
words like right away there. It's an IPA.
okay.
I'll show it off here. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I want to see what this can looks like.
Funny story. Like when I was in junior high,
We have 2
we
of
had a
them, 'cause-
class where we had to like make an advertisement, and my buddy and I made it Mortal Wombat was the name of our product.
See? Wow.
That's good.
Liability Brewing Company out of somewhere. I've had this beer before.
Tatooine.
Somewhere.
It's out of Tatooine.
Must be. Yeah.
Everything's out of Tatooine. Have you seen the Star Wars universe?
Yeah. Or weirdly Jakku, right? Like why is it coming out of there? I don't know. They didn't say where they're from, so I'll never find them.
Yeah.
What are you been painting at all?
Have I been painting at all? Painting's been really slow for me. I have my my IRL squad fully put together, and that's about the extent of it. I'm hoping to get some prime on them later tonight.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Omnus?
Well, right now I'm finishing off one of the Bodhisattvas that I was drinking last week. Figured can't let them sit in my fridge for too long. But I got something else to bust into little later, and so I'll announce that one when we get to it. But so not super exciting on the beer front just yet. Painting wise, my news.
You guys have been
Guess who is fully painted?
Not me.
This guy.
Not
I
me.
mean, I still have a lot
painted
of
like twice over.
I have a lot of highlighting and stuff to do, like because like my cloaks on my Magna Guard are still just like kind of flat cream, no shading or highlighting at all, and so there's little things I'd like to go back through, but I can play all of the models right now painted except Ahsoka because I don't have her. So that's exciting. But most recently, I did my my high grounds. I ordered 2 high ground sets from Discount Games Inc. They arrived on Friday. It was a little confusing because at one point they were like, "We're sending these back to the sender because your address is incomplete," and then they showed up a half an hour later.
No.
So
Somebody hit
thanks,
the wrong
post
button.
office. sometimes the address for me, like I will ship this stuff often to my work, especially if I want to like assemble it during the week. And sometimes what happens is because I'll put like my name and then somewhere I try to work in care of the name of the place that I work so that the mailman knows who. But like our normal person just recognizes my name. I've been there for 11 years. I ship a lot of stuff. They're usually, oh, that's part of VI. But somehow it got cut off on this one and just wasn't in there anywhere. And whoever like pre-driver was kind of confused. But the driver's like, I got this. So I'm working on those. Those are just kind of like, I did like Friday night. It was like silver, wash, dry brush, seal. And I managed to get that kind of done in like 5 hours.
Nice.
So at least it like kind of blends in with the terrain, even though it doesn't have any other color on it. And so those were super fun to play with. Probably the thing I'm most excited about with those is game 2. I set something up where one of the high ground towers was in the middle, and then I had gantries running nearby. So if you imagine, they were only maybe an inch away from the tower, but it ended up with an objective on the high ground, but you could contest it on the same elevation from a different piece of terrain, which I thought was really cool. And I'd like to set up more tables with something like that in the future. It didn't end up mattering for the game because it was in the middle, and it was like Anakin took the middle, and then just nobody wanted to fuck with Anakin, so it was like kind of irrelevant. But I thought in concept it was cool. So I'm really looking forward to playing with those some more. This week I committed to my must play an equal amount of everything so far, and I have now an absolute equal amount of games with all Separatists, equal amount of games with all Mandos, and equal amount of games with all clones.
And I hear you got a little secret that you're holding from me that is
Driving
mall
him nuts.
related, and it's driving me nuts.
I do have like my first like team that I'm going to dig into. I'm not quite ready to reveal that yet, but I'm going to dig into it and see if this idea works out. And if so, I will spoil it on the show either way. Like if it ends up sucking, I will tell everybody it sucked, or if it just was mediocre, or if I think I've got something I really want to dive into more. That may be a thing, but it's been interesting. I think it was a really good idea to try each of the teams kind of in their own, like seeing the full package work, Asajj and Dooku and how they felt force-wise versus like how the Mandos felt force-wise and how all clones felt force-wise. It was really interesting, and I feel like I learned a lot. But I'm also, I think I'm going to fill in for Amon while he's on getting married with Hello There. So nice. I think they want to dig into like this, like, hey, what have we learned, in this first month of gaming? So I'll probably dive into that topic a bit with Jesse. But I strongly recommend it to everyone. I think you learn some really important lessons, just kind of like trying a little bit of everything. I'm really happy that I did that.
Awesome. Okay, my turn, I guess. I have painted 3/4, I guess, in between a half and 3/4 because I didn't paint Anakin yet.
Why didn't you paint Anakin yet?
He doesn't matter.
Wow, I have Anakin thoughts, by the way.
But no, I painted up my red Mandos and blue Mandos and Bo and Gar and Maul and my Sith Ahsoka. I might go back and touch her up with some stuff because somebody put out a actually pretty interesting thing, like put some silver on like the little edges of her little skirt thing. I was like, that's pretty cool. That looked nice with the red. And then I'm doing my Dread Guard 501st and Rex, which are looking super sick. From like the cast last week, the bonus episode, we talked about how Vader seems really good with Rex and the 501st, or at least they're going to be standard. And I was like, well, I don't want to play Rex and 501st clones because they're good guys. I want to play bad guys. So I looked up, Vader's got to have like black stormtroopers. And so it did. It's a Dread Guard. And I painted them, and they are looking super sick. I'm loving them so far. And I can't wait. They are ready for the Lord Vader. Darth Vader, anyways. With that, I'm drinking.
I'm really religious there for a second.
Yeah. The Lord Vader. And then I'm drinking a tropical beer hug again, and I got another one down here in my bag, and I also got a sour monkey ready to go.
Nice. Oh, speaking of sour monkey, I found a place in my neck of the woods that has sour monkeys for $2 on Tuesdays.
Nice.
And I think
Like on tap?
no, it's bottles of it,
Oh, okay.
but it's still it's a bargain. The bargain
Yeah.
is the point there, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Dude,
almost as cheap
anytime
as you
you're
can
picking
drink at
up
home.
something at an establishment for $2.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
yeah. I also have
Um,
like dollar slices of pizza, so
Ooh.
it's just like
That sounds really good. They got pool too. Like, oh, come by, hang out.
no, it's more of a restaurant than a bar.
Oh,
But they have a bar inside. This is important content stuff right here.
it
though.
is. It is. It's beer talk. Let's see. Playing wise, I had played on TTS a little bit. I did my Vader Mall, and I was quite pleased with Vader Mall. I am happy with it. It is a whole lot of hurt, as one could imagine. I will say, Sam talked about Obi Vader, and I actually think Obi Vader is kind of scary, but won't go too deep into that.
I cannot believe that he's Galactic Republic. It,
Yeah.
like, triggers on
So-
all the Galactic Republic stuff. Like,
When,
you have got to be kidding me.
When I sent my dad,
Yes.
I sent my dad the card for Vader when it was spoiled, and my dad was like, "How? Like, how is he Galactic Republic?" I'm like, I mean, like he was for like 20 minutes, like the whole Jedi Temple assault. It was still Galactic Republic. So you got
It's a real
about
interesting. Like,
you got about 12 hours that he was Galactic
the window
Republic.
of him in the suit
Never
and
crosses.
like before it becomes the
Yeah.
Empire is like 45
Non-exist.
minutes.
Yeah.
well, I
But-
mean, the Senate doesn't get dissolved for a little while after that. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's still technically the Republic. Like well through the Andor show, it's still a Republic.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's already an Empire, right? But it just still has because he announces at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he's like,
Oh, he
"We're
does,
being
you're right, yeah.
reorganized into a galactic empire," and people are cheering, and Padme's like, "This
Oh,
is
no.
how freedom dies!" To
I don't know.
roaring applause.
I just couldn't. I just no. That's like his.
Yeah.
That's like the all that he did while there was still a Galactic Republic.
Basically.
But I think what you
Where
could say
is
is like,
Padme?
in theory, right? Like the clones were still serving him during that time. Like he still
are,
had
yeah.
501st clone troopers,
which is
serving
why I'm
Vader.
super cool with this whole Dread Guard idea I did. I'm like this is nice.
Oh,
But yeah, Vader,
It's unbelievable to me. It's just unbelievable that he has
Galactic Republic, because he's so good with Galactic Republic.
I'm not saying you can't explain it.
Fair.
I'm just saying that, like, it just blows my mind. Like,
Here,
wow.
just so everybody knows, the Reverend is here, so now we can start.
You
anyways.
missed Dyzard getting really religious about Vader, man.
Lord Vader, our Lord Vader. Anyways, other than that, I had an event. Am I diving into the event now?
Well, here, one thing before we get into it, I just want to say I really enjoyed with everyone who's reached out and who like listens to my other show and has been like, I really enjoy like host Omnus, but also like co-host Wild Omnus is super fun, and I'm really enjoying Rogue Support. And so it just made every time I see the phrase Wild Omnus in my head, what happens is I'm like, Wild Omnus. Woo!" And so I just.
A
I just
wild
want you guys
omnibus.
to know-
Wacky inflatable arm guy.
Like I imagine that I'm like running a little Western ranch, and it's like, "Ooh, welcome to Wild Omnus' ranch."
You're like the old TV car salesman advertisements when they make spoofs of it in comedy shows. Like,
Yeah,
come on down to
exactly like
Wild
that.
Omnis's.
Come on down to Wild Omnus. Get the best deal on Kias anywhere on Tatooine.
Bum, 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 bum.
You want a speeder? Half off.
So that's going to be the thing now. Wild Omnus.
Ben says you talk like that for the rest of the show.
All right, Dyzard. Tell us about your event. Wild Omnus wants to know how it went.
If he gets to do that, I get to be the. You can't catch me. See,
I can't put up with this.
No, you gotta do the Yoda voice the whole show. Sammy Two Pews as
oh,
the
man.
Galactic Republican within us.
no.
I could
Wow,
not.
Galactic
I could-
Republican really puts a different slant on my feels right now. I'm libertarian, and
All right. Okay, so the event this weekend, it was at Total Access Games up in Ashland, Virginia.
Yosemite Sam.
Rogue Support meets Yosemite Sam. Good. It was 7 people showed up. It was a 3-rounder. It was Really, it actually went really well for me.
Was it a premiere event?
No, it was only I asked that, and they
the TO.
no, I actually think I have strong opinions on that. Actually, I think that nobody should run into premiere event until at the earliest beginning of August, because that gives time to get July's releases, get them painted and all that stuff, and then potentially get August releases too. I don't
think I agree with
I think
that.
we want Grievous. I think we want Grievous.
I think it's just fun to be able to go to an event and be like, I'm going to play a bunch of different stuff. Right?
No, and I agree with that. I don't think that anybody should be really saying, like, I don't know, if I said like, hey, this is a premiere event, I'm really expecting people to have 4 squads ready to play a month after the game came out.
But the box comes with 4 squads. I think it's just, I'm not saying every event should be a premiere event, but to say that you should not have a premiere event until like basically August,
okay, I guess
stuff.
I
think there's just an element. There are people who just like playing all of the things, and I think it's actually good. I especially after playing all of them kind of equally, I would actively say you should kind of try out each of those pods. And that will just help you enjoy the game more. So.
I don't disagree with that. I guess I'm being a little hyperbolic, where I don't like being like you shouldn't run.
Hyperbolic?
Yeah, fair.
Do not do this.
But yeah, run premieres if you want them. I just know that for me, I would not want to do one until like August, September timeframe.
It's okay. You don't have to be right about everything.
I know, but Maul, I am because I went 3-0 with Lord Maul and my Mandos with Ahsoka. So I truly think that like with stuff that's like actually physically released right now, Maul, Ahsoka, and all Mandos is like up there for strengths.
It's a bold take.
It is a bold take, but I don't think I'm wrong on this.
I think that you've put in a lot of reps. How many games?
We're not talking about
that everyone at this. I'm just okay. Low end.
Yeah.
You have more games under your belt than everyone at that tournament combined.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's a feather in your cap far more than it is Maul and Ahsoka. All Mandos is a top tier tournament threat.
No, because I actually think that Maul and Ahsoka and all Mandos is actually a top tier tournament threat.
I like it.
I mean, I actually agree. So I'm
having a hard time saying this right now.
I'm going to back off my prior Maul downplayment.
Right.
I think in my initial games, because I ended up playing him a lot with Separatist droids because I was playing Asajj with the Super Commandos. I think there's a lot of facets to making Maul feel like he's worthwhile. And one, spend less time on the Dark Rage side helps. Play him with the All Mandos so you really feel the benefit of the additional force.
Sure.
Because of his and like but it just with all that stuff combined, like I do think he has a really solid place, and you could make an argument that he might be one of the best, if not like one of the more key leaders or primaries for the All Mando team. I think it's weird because he doesn't really play like the way that you would imagine he would play, because he's really there about like, oh, I don't need force, and so the Mandos can use all of it, and then he hucks lightsabers and just like pulls people off of terrain and lets them fall. And I think he's really solid in that build, and I would actually support Dyzard in this argument that team right now I would put easily in the conversation for the strongest release team. And if I had to just like make a quick hot take right now, I would say might actually be like the team to beat
currently until next month.
Yes, before we're talking about like Luminara releasing and that kind of stuff.
Coffee. Go ahead.
No, you
okay.
Take this,
I was like, Coffee said, Dyzard beats 7-man local meta. Mostly unpainted father and sons learning to play. Maul Ahsoka is apparently top tier now. To be completely honest, you're not wrong, which is actually really cool to see. The event was mostly like 7 people, so myself, a couple of people from the MCP community, and there was a father with a son there, which is really cool. I got to play both of them actually. And then somebody else who obviously like had quite a few games under their belt. who was my last opponent. And what's funny
Still stand by
is,
my original statement.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Even with him having a whole bunch
Yeah.
of games.
No, I definitely had
All
like the
4 of
most
them.
games. But what's really funny is that person was also playing all Mandos, but they were playing Asajj, Ahsoka, which is interesting.
And I do think Asajj Ahsoka is really good,
Yeah,
but it feels so tight on Force that I just don't feel like you can kind of do all the things, and you have to make weird sacrifices.
yes. That was my issue when I came around to it. Maul definitely helps out on that front because he just basically says, "I don't need Force."
That I think is what he's really bringing to the table, and that so like I do think that there's, I think it's really great how we've gone kind of like, not like full circle or even around the horn on this, but like I tooted the Dooku horn for a long time, and I'm still tooting the Dooku horn, but I'm warmed to the possibility of an Obi-Wan top tier. Just kind of like Obi-Wan doing amazing things, affecting the board. You have to like, maybe build for both of those guys a lot. I think it's very interesting though that we have. I don't feel like we have been wrong. How about that?
Yeah.
I feel like what we've been doing is kind of walking around like the build out as you like reach different layers of the onion. And you're like, oh wow, this is really strong. Wait, but this beats that. Oh wait, but if you move in on this territory, then that makes that less good. Oh, look at this. Now we're.
I mean, let's be real.
Passive.
I can say this in way less words than you are right now.
Okay, good. Because I kind of like used a lot of words there.
What wins this game? Mobility and going towards points and survivability. Yep. I don't care about the damage you're putting out. I don't care about like you have to like average damage. I'll say that. But like it's more about mobility and shoves. This game is 100% mobility shoves, and that's really what wins the game. And what do Mandos do really, really well? They are very, very mobile. Gar, I think, has actually been very underrated. Especially from, I don't know, we haven't really talked about Gar all that much. But Gar, especially in that last game where it was like my Gar versus his Gar, and in my first game where it was Gar versus Gar. Gar just MVP all freaking day. What's
Gar. Just how many times you got to say Gar?
Which one of the Mandalorians is the best pirate? Gar!
There's like 9 uses of Gar in 2 sentences. I was just very impressed.
But I actually am starting to warm to the thought that, like, I do think a bow is more beneficial than Gar if you're playing all Mandos, but I just think you just play Gar over Jango still. There was one time where I was trying to do Jango over Gar, and Gar's output is just insane. He just controls points almost as well as Jango, if not better. Like, Jango has diceless control, but Gar is typically, like, he's putting out hurt and control, where Jango's just like, I'm a scenario player. So, go ahead.
I've really warmed to Jango
say,
for what that's worth.
What I want to say about the initial round of releases is, because I was initially like, I wanted to look at them and see, like, hey, because nobody likes saying which one's best and worst, and I don't mind hot taking, but where I'm at right now is each of them kind of have their advantaged role in a team, and they all have spots on the board that they don't like being or situations they don't like being in, which is really interesting. So I think if you play a particular character like Gar or Maul or whoever, and you just don't get to see them in the right situation, like when Asajj has to go first because you're like, oh, I pulled Anakin and I want to reserve Anakin, and then you pull Asajj and Asajj has to go first and stand in the middle. They kind of all have their spot where they like them. And I agree with Coffee. Like, if I have to put somebody as the worst of all releases so far, it's Cody.
I was gonna say Cody. I was gonna interrupt you to say Cody.
But I think especially with the primaries, I just mean it does kind of impact Gar, because if you see how Bo is playing and she's a little bit, you often like want to go to the middle and take points, and like Gar doesn't like being that quite as much. I know Dyzard, you and I have talked about this behind the scenes a little bit. Like, Gar like kind of wants to be on like one of the further back points, sniping off people, and then being a little opportunistic and like grabbing points when it's a little bit easier for him.
I mean, if I was to describe like Gar, like what he wants to do, you and I came with like he's very opportunistic. Like you just said, he's gonna be backline, but I think the thing that people miss with Gar is he is a monster in melee. You get him up there with other Mandos nearby. he is a monster in melee. Like he's arguably better in melee than he is in range because cover don't matter anyways.
He's an awesome output piece.
Yeah,
I
like
think
guard.
he's an awesome output piece.
Yeah, guards is great. But that being said, again, it was just a small local event. 7 people showed up. And the first round was
How many of them did you make quit Shatterpoint?
none of them. Everybody was actually really happy with how the event went. And first round was really, really close, actually. And this is the only round that I actually hit mission critical. So like it was struggle 1. I ended up getting like my full momentum track, and then finally was able to score a 4, and it was like done. And then second struggle was like draw, and I was like, there's no way I'm winning this struggle. I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I can. And like struggle 2 was literally over in 2 activations. 2 activations each, or 1.5. 2 for him, 1 for me. And then struggle 3 was exactly the same, but in my favor. And then my second round was the son of the guy I just beat. And
Beat my whole family. Put
Yeah.
your name on a list.
he I think the thing that he fell into the trap of was he just wanted to kill things. He just wanted to attrition. He even like sacrificed going onto a point to even up like the 2 for 2 type of thing, in order to just like get a shot and do stuff like that. And I talked to him after the game. I was like, hey man, like something really to think about with this is this game's really strong with victory points. And sometimes you got to sacrifice that attack in order to get the VPs because you want to like maintain that parity and then shoot your shot when you're going for that 3-pointer or even that 4-pointer. And he seemed to understand it after we talked a little bit. So hopefully it helped him out. I think he ended up going 1 and 2 that day, which is pretty cool. And then my third opponent was the Asajj and Ahsoka. And that game was very, very, very tight. And I think it really did come down to I had force when he didn't, so I could reserve when I needed to reserve to really be beneficial on the end of the game.
Did you
Because
have someone in reserve?
no,
Okay.
that game actually, that game I probably reserved the least I've ever reserved. And I kind of just adopted this mentality of I'm just gonna go with who I draw, and I'm gonna save my force for when I actually need it, and just make the use out of what I can. Unless like this, so I'm kind of like taking this mindset of if I cannot either A, return with this activation, like return points, or B, get a wound and be -1, so it technically is kind of a return. As long as it's not going to allow them to score out on their next activation. Then
Okay with it.
yeah, unless you're okay with it, like struggle 2. But at that point, I'm just not going to reserve them. Like if I can actively have an active impact on the game state and either return score or an equivalent of return score, then I'm not going to reserve them. If I can't get that, then I reserve them. That's kind of the mentality I'm starting to take, and I feel a lot better about reserving. And I find that I'm doing it way less, and I'm finding better uses for characters. So I would implore people to just try this out instead of just going like, oh, I don't think I need this right now. I'm going to reserve.
That's my only concern with like the Obi Lumi lists that I've played is that I wind up in situations where like I'm almost using the reserve like as like or instead of in lieu of other force powers because I'm just like, well, I'm gonna put this guy here and then okay, now we're gonna go with this guy instead of this guy and we're gonna resolve it. And you got Obi-Wan bouncing around doing what he wants to do too.
Coffee. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like after playing all of these different teams, I feel like the Republic team cares a whole lot more about reserving characters than the Mando team does.
Well, it's because Mandos are always relevant.
Mandos, you almost can like just do a cool thing like with everyone.
Yeah.
Where Republic kind of needs the right character in the right moment. I will say, playing Republic, it feels a lot more like the primaries get to do really cool work, which doesn't happen nearly as much playing Mandos. But I know Kenny will
happen with
appreciate
Inquisitors
this.
a bit too. Sorry, not to interrupt you completely, but
I just wanted to share, like, I got to kind of like live one of the Anakin dreams. Like, Anakin was always doing Anakin stuff, but game 2, he was like in the middle of the board, and I was like looking at the board. I was like, I just helped my opponent so that I didn't like auto win, and he was able to like take take a key spot that like got him back in the game, and I was like, okay, I need to score 4 VPs, or I need to move the struggle 4 spots and gain a momentum to win this round now, because I helped him take the spot where he would double score, and I was like, Cody. Cody can't do anything. Cody, you go here. Reserve, Shatterpoint, Anakin, walk, hop, murder, Asajj. Took 2 attacks, takes the point, scores 4, moves the struggle, and it was just like Anakin shutting shit down. And so I know Kenny will appreciate the Anakin moments.
My second round opponent, he was playing Anakin Obi, and his Anakin had 1 activation where he needed to do 2 damage to Bo, and he failed.
What? How?
Over 2 attacks.
How do you even do that?
Because it happens.
Dice, man.
Dude, even when Anakin's not rolling well, it still feels like he does 5 damage.
I know, which is crazy because like he did that, and I was like, I feel so bad for you right now. I'm sorry, man. Because he's like, oh.
No, it hurts. It hurts.
It does. It does.
I've
Like
both sides of that. It feels so good when Anakin.
But the
wins.
thing is like the kid was like having
Yes.
such a blast though. Like you could tell he was enjoying the game. Which I honestly like. This is something I do think is actually super crazy to think about. Is you go to like an MCP tournament or you see a 40K tournament or any of these, everybody's like at that tournament just looks like a sweaty tryhard. I ain't gonna lie. Like everybody's like leaning in on the table, super focused. This event. No, tell me I'm wrong. Like I swear, every like MCP event, even if people say like they're there to have fun,
you all tell Dyzard he's wrong right
Wow,
now.
okay.
That would be glorious.
But like,
Dyzard, you're
but
wrong.
like,
wow.
Dyzard,
but like
you're wrong.
this entire event, like the entire time, you could hear people saying, "Wow, that was so cool," or like, "Wow, like I can't believe that happened," and like laughing, and really, like, it sounded like you walk into the room and you could tell everybody was having fun.
That's
And
Star Wars.
But
I'm all here for that.
But I haven't felt that with MCP. Like I haven't like in a long time.
I think MCP is a pretty fun casual game for most of the people who play it.
That's fair. But let's not talk too much about that. I want to say Coffee said
We're not here for
reserve
that today?
reserve equals a 1 force ability on your unit. And I don't disagree. It's just a 1 force ability that every character has.
And
it goes into
Republic
your
wants to
economy.
use it a lot more.
So let's go ahead and jump into our segue of Chamber of Judgment and talk about Mission Critical. That's God, I could not think of
Critical.
it.
You changed it.
I know.
We had a whole plan, and you wanted to change it to Mission Critical. So, you should remember what you want to talk about.
I think the biggest thing here that I wanted to hit on is because I was very, 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 very like Mission Critical. Like this looks terrible. This looks like it's gonna make so many feels bad moments. It's gonna be so favored on one person. And playing this event 2 times, there was one person who his first game playing Shatterpoint was round 1. And
dude, respect. What do you know what their name was?
It's Minion. He plays MCP a lot, so
Minion.
Yeah.
Hey, props to you, man. That is the way to start. Like, go to an event, play your first game in an event. Respect. You're my bro.
Yeah, that's my MO. So good on this guy. I'm here for that.
But not he, but like I asked everybody at the end. I was like, can I get like everybody's thoughts on Mission Critical? Because my thing personally is I don't really have any opinions on Mission Critical because I only reached Mission Critical 1 game. And that was literally for like 2 to 5 minutes on Struggle 3 in my first game. That was the only game that I reached Mission Critical, so I don't have any true opinions on it that I would like to say. But I asked, and everybody said it felt fine. Like, everybody said that they felt like it was actually really good, really fair and balanced, and all it really did was just hit fast forward. It didn't make it seem like one person was getting more than the other. It didn't make it seem like one person was advantaged.
Can you real quick, like, what is Mission Critical?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Mission Critical, so basically at a Shatterpoint event, you're going to get a hour and a half, so 90-minute round timer. So you get 2-hour round timer, but basically the best way to do this is going to be put 90 minutes on the clock. Once those 90 minutes are up, your TO will announce Mission Critical to where you put 30 minutes on the clock. In that 30 minutes, every time the active player ends their turn starting once mission critical starts gets to add a momentum to their track for mission critical. So let's say you're in mission critical, I get a wound, and I didn't pull the score over. I'm now getting 3 momentum off of that turn, which is arguably huge. Like, that's momentous.
Momentous.
But what happens when you get to like the end of the momentum train?
That's it.
Because-
Like you can't get any more
Yeah.
momentum.
Yeah, you can't move the momentum to 0, so it's just.
I feel like Mission Critical really. I'd love to hear Omnus' thoughts on this because he's played equal terms with everything. I have paid attention to Mission Critical, but I have not paid I haven't played in an event where I'm like, all right, Mission Critical actually is happening or happened. I'm like, okay, this game's gone about we're about 90 minutes in now. This would be Mission Critical. What would that look like? And so I just start trying to pay attention to what that would do to the scoring. And in my experience, it would advantage the Republic player far more often than not, because I find that, at least in my games with Republic, we're playing a lot of the game on my side of the scoreboard, which means my opponent winds up dazing my characters, filling their side with momentum, and also getting momentum for not pulling it all the way back onto their side. And so I've been in far more than a handful of games now, and I've seen a handful more where this is the play pattern. Gar has a lot of good ways to score. Sorry, my Gar is Galactic Army of the Republic. That's a holdover from playing Legion. So it's just Republic when I say that. It's not Gar, the amazing Mandalorian. Anyway, I feel like I wind up playing on my side of the scoreboard while my opponent gets a lot of momentum on theirs, which would mean that once we get into a mission critical time, I am only benefiting from that.
Yeah.
If their momentum board's full and we're playing between 4 and 1 on mine, it is literally just a matter of time before mission critical means.
So that was my biggest concern is one person is going to be super heavily favored in this. And to be completely honest, all it really does is it just hits fast forward. It doesn't actually impact too much to the point of where it's it changed who was going to win this game.
And that's fair, because in those games, I feel like I've come out on top more often than I haven't.
Yeah.
Because it's literally we're playing on my side of the board, and so it's once the momentum is full, if you can't get it all the way back onto yours,
yeah,
I'm gonna get a daze. I'm gonna do something, and it's gonna get a momentum on mine, and I'll score again.
You also got to think is the more momentum you have, yes, typically the more easier it is for you to pull it over. But you're also making that track shorter and shorter and shorter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So in all reality, when you're looking at the struggle counter and what's going on within the game, yes, both players are getting momentum. It's going on like this. But in all reality, it's still always the same throughout the entire game of what you need to close it out. If that makes sense.
Penny.
Well,
it's one of those penny
what I will
things.
say is almost every game that I've played, there has been a point where one person is 1 point away from winning the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the potential to swing it back the other direction. And I've had a fair amount of games where, maybe it's struggle 2 where my opponent starts off advantage and then they get really close, but I'm able to kind of take advantage of the momentum that I've gained in the process and eventually swing it back my direction. And so I will say there are going to be some games where one momentum movement ends the game. Right?
I agree. Especially because
that is going to happen, but it's going to be that for the person who's winning in that moment, which probably is fine. If a game is running close to time, it just means that person's really close to winning, just barely hasn't gotten it. It's going to be sad when that happens and it's oh, this person got really lucky in struggle 3 and they got the double on their side multiple times and I never got it on my side, and then they're 1 away from winning, and then mission critical makes it so they win. Sure, that game is not going to feel great, but
that's
you can also play faster.
Yeah, well, it's not just that though. It's you look at everything you just said, and it comes back to what I've been saying with you guys offline, and it's where was the mistake that you made that set up that situation? Right. Because in this game, if you look at here, hot take alert, right? If I look at I got a bad order pull, I got a bad priority roll, I got a bad struggle draw, what did you do with that situation to make the best of it? We go back to my round 1 game, right? The order struggle 2 was absolutely miserable for me, and I lost it in 2 activations. So it's and I realized this and this is I guess segueing into our main topic of today, but I realized it. I realized as soon as it was drawn, like there's no way I win this struggle. What can I do to actually benefit my game state? And it was take super commandos off the table. Just remove this character. Let me go wound this guy and get it so that way struggle 3 is easier for me. So doing something actionable for the struggle that you have a chance of winning if you already realize you're not winning struggle 2. But I like to close out mission critical, right?
That's a position of privilege for what it's worth, though.
Fair.
Because if you're able to give up struggle 2, that means you won struggle 1.
Yes.
Or you're just like, I'm ready to go, like pound a beer in the parking lot. Call this round.
Oh man,
You mean a cast full of 3 white guys is talking about playing from a position of privilege?
wow.
Hey,
I don't know if you can say that. Man, after like when I was waiting for the other games to finish, I would like sit outside. And this guy walking by and he's eyes glossed over. I was like, oh man, here we go. And he started talking to me and he's like, hey man, you want a shot? And pulled a little mini shooter from his bag. Yeah.
You want some body temperature vodka, brother?
That's basically what it was.
Tell me you said yes.
No, I was
like, yes.
I'm sorry, man. I'm told him I was
I'm in the zone, my man. I'm playing miniatures games. What?
Yeah, I basically told him I was like, I don't drink, man. And he's like, you broke my heart. You broke my heart, man. And then Todd came out of the store.
Padme died. I would take that seriously.
And then Todd comes out and he starts asking Todd if Todd wants a shot. Oh, it was good. But I was like, I got like an hour drive home. This is not a good idea.
So
anyways,
I want a quick hot take, and I will just say I think the number one thing that leads to someone losing a game right now is how they spend their force.
I don't disagree with that, actually.
You run out of options. You run out of force, you run out of options.
Yeah,
when someone when you're like, oh, I'm attacking Ahsoka, but you don't have the power to not so fast, like, or you would win this game if you could just reserve because you're just activating the wrong character. Like when you end up in these situations where you just cannot do the critical thing for your team, like that.
So what I really hear you saying is if you're not playing Maul, you're probably losing.
Hey, I backed off on my Maul hatred.
I have an interjection here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This game has a lot of 5-finger death punches in it.
I hate that band.
Right? No, it's not about the band.
Can you
It's
explain
about
this reference?
it's
What
the
is a
concept in
5-finger
martial
death
arts.
punch in reference to
Have you seen Kill Bill?
Yes, I just don't understand how this applies to
and
Shadow
Volume
Point.
2.
And Volume 2. The
Yes,
5-finger punch.
Sorry, spoiler alert, everybody.
Cinematic adventures.
There's a 5-finger death punch in Kill Bill Volume 2. It applies like this. You ran out of force 3 turns ago. Now you pay the price.
Yeah.
You moved up. You split your clones on your second activation to send them at 2 different points to grab those 2. And now it's the 7th activation of the game. Your clones are injured wounded for, I don't know how long they're going to be wounded. And now I'm not contesting either of these points that I had hoped to contest. I'm paying the price way down the line.
Yeah.
I got my Shatter Point too early. I got my Obi-Wan too early. So like there are things that can affect you in this game that are like, ow, and you can try to recover from it, make a good tactical decision, and do something else. There are tons of times you're going to make a wrong mistake, and you're not necessarily going to see that was an error until turns down the line. So you got to be looking back quite a lot.
Well, I had a game where like my opponent they drew Shatter Point first thing, and they just immediately were like too early for a Shatter Point, reserved it, shuffled it back in, and then later that game, they were on 1 force, and I needed to kill Ahsoka, and. So that like that decision literally totally changed the landscape of the game.
I'm like I said earlier, like I'm definitely cooling on how much I reserve stuff, even the Shatterpoint card. I'm just
Mando's player. It's hard to take that with like. It's easy to play Mandos and not reserve often.
Yeah, because like, if you're like, I got my Shatterpoint card, I'm just gonna go Super Mandos. They're gonna get something done for me.
Yeah, who cares, right? Like,
yeah.
I feel like Mandos, like you have like all the like B's, right? Like some of us have to deal with like C's, like 501st, and you're like, oh, I got some 501st here.
When I play Vader, I got 501st, man. Hey, they're not being Shatterpointed.
I mean, Anakin and Vader both shine, so
yeah,
like, I'm not. They are the tax you pay to bring that piece.
Yeah, it's like it's points. It's cap, right? It's like you're bringing the tax.
First are fine. They're 3 points. Like
they're okay.
Yeah, But just
Okay.
like when your girlfriend or wife or significant other says, "Yeah, I'm fine," that's exactly how the 501st fine is.
No, I
They're
disagree
fine.
with
No,
that.
they are. They're fine.
No.
They're fine. They're
For
fine.
3
They're
points,
warm
they
bodies. They
still-
score points just like any other warm bodies on the board. They also pin, so they mess with your opponent's action economy. And, like, I can make a case for the
501st
501st. My point
brains.
about them is that they're just like,
But anyways, back to the Crucible of Judgment here, whatever we call it.
push.
Chamber of
Chamber of
Judgment.
Judgment. I feel like we
Um,
probably should be wrapping up Chamber of Judgment.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
Are you blaming me for this?
Do or do
Yes.
not.
I derailed
There is
us
no
like
try,
an hour
Dyzard.
ago.
But basically, I think what it comes down to is I think Mission Critical is actually good. Like, I was very down on it to begin with, and I told you guys, like, this is stupid. But actually playing it and playing the event, again, one person, his first game was round 1. Nobody in the entire event had to go to time. Mission Critical stops you from having to go to time, and it didn't create any feels bad. So I'm for Mission Critical. Further analysis to continue.
Mission Critical is better than timing out.
I agree.
As a TO, I don't want to see games go past time, and as
Yeah.
a competitively minded player, I don't want to be hurt by a guy who's
I-
really slow. And
I
feel
also
like-
I also want to hear your guys' opinion on this, because I didn't realize this until I read the rules of the event, because I ended up being the rules guy for the event.
Oh, and you won. Mhm.
Yeah, and I won.
Wait, do you want to save this for our new ending segment?
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just don't let me forget, because I will forget. Can somebody like send me a message in Discord or chat, or our crew chat, because I will forget. Anyways, let's go talk about the main topic, and that will
Yeah.
be
There's a topic today?
yes.
It's
a
Shatterpoint,
struggle,
right?
It's
The
a
main
struggle.
topic is Shatterpoint.
It's a struggle.
I don't know.
All right, so today our main topic is going to be talking about struggles. Some highlighted things is like, let's just get into it. You know what? This is easier to do this way.
Yeah. struggles.
Yeah, it's struggles. It's a struggle to talk about struggles. You know, I think the biggest thing to
struggle
talk.
bus.
It's a struggle bus.
Let's
I
start with
think-
struggle bus.
I think the biggest thing to point out here to start off with is points are incredibly important in this game, and a lot of times sacrificing attacks to gain VPs is absolutely worth it. I truly think this. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are, but let me say I think it's very situational, like we talked about earlier. If I can return or an equivalent of return, so if I need to score 2 to return, then I need to, at a bare minimum, get a wound and score 1 at a minimum. Do you guys think that scoring VPs is more important than attacking this game?
Sam, you want to go first?
I mean, how do you win this game? Do you win by destroying all of your opponent's pieces, removing them all from the table, and ensuring that they had a terrible time playing the game? Or do you win on points? Correct me if I'm wrong. We win on points, right, guys? Like that's how you win this game.
Correct. That
Okay.
is correct.
All right, so
Dyzard is literally looks like he's double checking the
all
rulebook.
for
Do you win
scoring
on
all
points?
the
Oh.
points you can.
Oh no, there's nowhere in here
I mean-
that says you win by draining all of the life joy
So,
out of your opponent.
if you're the first player,
Wait. You know what's
And-
really funny is there is nothing in the rulebook. Nothing. There is literally nothing in the rulebook that says the game is over when you have no models remaining. There's no table option. It's just VPs.
Dude, I feel like that should never ever.
How-
It should.
how stick
It
are
should
these
never
points?
happen.
How
Like
stick
how?
are these
How?
points?
How did you kill everybody?
Like they released Darth Bane and he is broken as fuck. Is
can
the
see it.
only way. That
I might have missed it. Like I might have missed it, but I've read the rulebook like probably 10 times now at this point, and I have not. I don't remember seeing anything that says the game is over when all models are removed.
So
Um,
I will say, like, I mean, you guys know me. I am a score first sort of player. Playing Republic, I did have a game where both myself and my opponent went really heavy into force in Struggle 1. And like before the shuffle,
Whoopsie.
we both were like out of force for our last 2 activations.
Whoopsie.
And so I did have multiple activations over my last game where the clones could not get to any spot that would affect scoring. And so I was like, well, wait a minute, I could win this struggle right now if the clones with like the Cody reroll can like finish off Saxon, who's been softened up. And so I made they did not move on to any points. They just went after Saxon, who also was not on a point. I just needed the momentum to end struggle 1.
Yeah.
And so I have found a couple situations here and there where the right thing to do is to just go offensive. But that feels very few and far between.
It's super niche. Like I said, like you had an equivalent return though. Like you weren't just like taking a loss. It was a very much equivalent return.
Yeah, I think you have to a certain extent make a good decision out of every activation. Find like what is the best thing that I can do with this particular activation, and then sometimes that is attacking. But
sometimes when you have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Or you have like a first or second position push, and you're like, okay, all right, this will work. I think
are good. Crazy talk.
Pushes are very good. Pushes are very, 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 very,
Pushes,
very, very
pushes,
good.
pushes are where it's at, dog. That's why
Shoves,
guard
shoves.
is
Shoves
good.
the actual language, right? Isn't it?
Shove. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into Omnus. You had a layout you wanted to break down for everybody, and this is how we're going to refer to everything from this point forward, as far as we are the rogue support.
Okay. So after we decided to do this, I did listen to Jay's podcast, Jedice, and they did it the opposite way.
Really?
So,
We're American here. We read top left to bottom right. Top left to bottom right. That's how we read.
So let me, because the listeners right now have no fucking idea what we're talking about. So if you imagine right now where everyone's playing the same struggle, right? 9 spots. Imagine it like the pad on a phone, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 3 right in front of your deployment
top left
are 7, 8, 9. Dyzard, shut up for a second. 4, 5, 6 across the middle, and then 1, 2, 3 are the ones that are directly in front of your opponent. To kind of understand some layouts. Now, I was putting all these down and kind of like trying to figure out which spots were the most advantageous as far as struggle 1 goes. And I'm just curious, and so each of you guys answer this question real quick. What is the one spot that is never scoring in struggle 2? Dyzard, do you know what it is? 5. Okay. 2 views? Yeah. So that is the first thing that you should take away, is that the center point, to a certain extent, is the least important of the scoring points in struggle 1. Do not overcommit to the center. It is one that, like, almost anytime, if you have the option to go generate scoring on a different point besides the center in struggle 1, that is almost always advantageous. Now, obviously, if you can take the center with minimal investment, right, and then you have a person there who's fairly mobile who can then move on to any of the others, that's still good. But if you end up with a situation where you kind of overcommit to the middle, yes.
Who goes first?
You had your hand up, but I've been smiling for like 2.5 minutes. No, you go ahead. Though.
I did the hand. But what if everybody who plays Shatterpoint listens to this cast and goes with this mindset, and nobody goes for the sinners? Now you can just get it for free. This is your plan, Omnus. Like you're just.
I just said if you can take the middle with someone who's very mobile for minimal investment.
Shut your fifth brother mouth.
And I actually think fifth brother would be the absolute wrong person to go after.
No, you want him to. You want him to on the outskirts.
Okay, let me see if I can change your mind on that, because my personal perspective is that while I agree with you that the middle is the least important point that you can be at on the board going into 2, I would argue that it is still central. From the center point, you can go to any of the other points. So if you're in a place where you can overwhelm the center, you can actually spread out from there going forward. And that fifth brother being in a central location is also like a great place for him to be. I'm done.
Okay, so so central points. If I am taking somebody,
the man in Star Wars shirt.
if I am taking someone on a central point in struggle 1, they're going to be somebody who's incredibly mobile, who could split away easily. I'm thinking Mandos. I'm thinking Ahsoka. I'm thinking Maul. I'm thinking not Obi, not Anakin. Arguably not Asajj because it's cheap, but basically people who could get to the outskirts with like very ease of access. Mandos do it easy because they jump. They have superior mobility.
Obi jumps the same as Mando.
You're not wrong, but I don't know. I think committing Obi to the outskirts is just more beneficial for Struggle 1 than Struggle 2. And like if he's in the middle, he's also probably getting swarmed.
I want him.
Okay, so to defend my argument further,
Yep.
So 2 out of 3 of the Struggle 3 cards put a scoring point on the middle. So we're talking about spot 4 or spot 6. So my argument is that if you're going to like heavily fight over a spot, it should probably be 4 or 6.
I agree.
Because you could end up in a situation where if you fight really heavily over the center and then Struggle 2 flips, you will like that point does not matter anymore at all. There is no point right now in Struggle 2 where that point matters at all. But if you can start off in a controlling position on 4 and 6, that can put you in a really strong position going into Struggle 2 where there's no way that they're going to start off with a 2-1 advantage on you. Now, mind you, the third card, I don't know its name off the top of my head, but there is a card that puts everything kind of in the V shape where it's basically like you're scoring like 1 and 3 and then 8, right? And so there's nothing in the middle and you're very kind of spread out. But that whole card is just V shapes where it's just variations on the V shape.
Yeah.
And so
2 that are variations on the V shape, and then 1 where it slides it off to the side. So we've been double cross is the one that slides it off to each side.
Yeah.
And then so much for the element of surprise, and we're going to need a new exit. Are the other 2 V shapes?
I don't know. I just think that I agree with you. The central is the most meaningless point. But I want to say if you're going to commit somebody central, it needs to be somebody who can get to an outside point without an action, which Ahsoka, Maul, Mandos don't really count because I focus.
Well, like as a good example, I wouldn't put like Magna Guard in the middle.
I wouldn't put clones in the middle. Clones in the middle is a mistake.
Well, I think most of the characters who have some way to like move. I mean, I agree with you, but like I think Magna Guard are the best example of potentially someone who could struggle going into Struggle 2 because they need someone else to activate to get that extra movement, whereas they otherwise just have an advance. And
I agree.
They could be in kind of a rough spot. And so I think when you start factoring in, like probably not that many people are listening to the show right now and being like, hey, I've played this enough where I'm already thinking about what are my potential options. And like, is there a combination on the board right now where if that card flips and they choose that one, I'm screwed. And like, I had a game come up and like my opponent was about to pick the wrong one, right? And I was like, James, you should pick the other one because this one gives you 2 scoring points. And even though I'm scoring that one, I don't have a person on that point. So I have to move someone there before I score anything. And it was kind of like I was basically had no good spots going into that struggle. And I think when you can set that up, right, Matt says he's always 7 steps ahead.
Are they good steps? No.
He's already playing Struggle 7. He's so far ahead of us. He's playing a whole different pack that has 7 struggles, and we are so far behind him. I think it's not even close.
I agree.
Alternate timelines.
IG88, right, Matt, is already like calculating.
I just like.
I hope he plays Seps.
I just feel like because also if you look at Struggle 1, right? You're always beneficial to go 4 and 6. You always are. Like there's not a Struggle 1 that I can think of right now that doesn't have 4 and 6 as an option.
No, they all of them have the middle line.
So it's like if you like honestly, if you ignore Central, but you don't let your opponent know you're ignoring Central, you're probably going to end up winning like struggle 1, to be completely honest, if you just go for 4 and 6, because they're not going to put just one person on the middle till they realize it, and then at that point it's probably too late, because at that point you've probably already scored 2 rounds of 3 where they scored 2, and that's probably a sign you're winning struggle 1.
Yeah, and I think if you can be controlling whatever's your back point, right? So in some, each of the struggles basically give you a spot where it's like 7 is scoring, 8 is scoring, or 9 is scoring, right?
Yes.
And so you obviously want that one, right? And if you score 4 and 6, you're probably going to win it. But I mean, it is also important. Like, I would actually, instead of overcommitting to the center, I would say if you can go after your opponent's back point, that may be more beneficial than overcommitting to the middle. So especially if you have, like, we got Dyzard over here who wants to talk about Maul and Ahsoka, but these super fast characters, or like Rex, like, let's not forget Rex. Rex can dash, move, dash.
You're
Like,
so primed for the pop right now. It's amazing.
I was going to say Bo is like one of the best people for this, because she sneakily is so freaking fast.
and you
that
don't mind
dash.
center pointing her.
That dash off of the focus is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think she and Django might be like up there for fastest,
Because they got the
Respect to
jumps.
that.
The biggest thing is they got the jumps.
and they can both do it twice.
Yes. And Asajj. Asajj is up there too.
Yeah.
Um,
Asajj, Rex, Django, Bo. Yeah.
Asajj,
Rex doesn't
Django,
jump.
Bo, Rex doesn't jump.
So Rex can
Rex
get
can
around.
dash
and he
himself.
enables your stuff.
And advance.
But, okay,
and
Okay, so that's
also dash.
that's an advance, but there's no jump. Asajj,
He does not have a jump.
yeah.
in there.
So
That is correct.
Asajj can take
Jump
the
is
same
right.
amount of distance but has jump. Bo can take the same amount of distance but has jump, and Django can take the same amount of distance but has jump.
And I
But
don't.
when you're trying to, like,
in my
cross the
experience,
board,
I don't think
I
you
think
want
it's-
Rex to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's
You don't
pretty
want Rex moving
reasonable
himself.
to
Oh, Grievous.
to find interesting spots to climb. Like, when you're
Yeah.
making that many movements, you can probably find a reasonable climb
can, yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
As long
I hear
as-
Grievous fails too.
As long as there is like decent ladder placement. But I think it's time we go ahead and get into our next point of this. And that is, what are some signs to identify who is going to win Struggle 1? And we kind of alluded to it a little bit already. And if you have a moment where you have a score that your opponent cannot return, or you can't return your opponent's score, that is almost immediately starting to set the stage for Struggle 1. That first moment of who returns, or whoever sets the score to 3 and you can't return 3.
Oh, Dyzard, I'm gonna interrupt you for a second.
Yeah,
Do
go
you
ahead.
mind if I talk Struggle 3 for just this is gonna be shorter?
Okay.
Before
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
move on. So I was just noticing in Struggle 3, so if you're looking at your scoring, spot 3 is never gonna score you in Struggle 3. So your bottom right,
Yeah.
and so the opposite on your opponent's side, which ends up being 3 and 7, essentially. And then center actually becomes very valuable in Struggle 3. So it is, like, if you kind of keep in your mind of, like, potentially moving back to Struggle 3 at some point, it's the only one that has 4 out of 6.
Well, I mean,
It's the
Center
most
never lost
likely to go
valuables.
active.
well, it's very much like Struggle 1 is spread, Struggle 2 is outskirts, Struggle 3 is in, and it very much forces you into these positions.
Yeah, I still contest. 4 and 6, most valuable spots.
I
Because
agree.
You can take them. You
Mhm.
can move back to 3 really
Yes.
easily. Or move
But
back to 5 in
not-
Struggle 3. Like,
Not only that, but like if you take 4 and 6, you're typically a dash and an advance away to where you can still make an attack too on that point.
Yeah.
So if you focus on 4 and 6 in your home point, you more than likely by the time you get to Struggle 3, if you haven't peeled away for some reason, you can more than likely action your opponent's home point on Struggle 3, which is huge.
Okay, so this is the case I'm going to make for the center point.
Okay. I'm all ears.
The center point is not something that you want to overcommit to, but if you do overcommit to it, and your opponent bites, so if you can throw
You're saying if
multiple-
both players overcommit.
No.
Yes.
I'm saying that if I put 2 highly mobile pieces on the center point,
Leave.
and my opponent makes the mistake of trying to contest that center point, I create a long-term winning situation, which I feel like echoes what you guys are saying, because you're saying, hey, this point is not very important. My point is that if you can maintain a presence at or around the center, you can continue to leave your units positioned in a place that will threaten the center. You have a lot more options going into things. And so we are going to touch on, if we haven't already, because I think we have, you won struggle 1, you kind of give up struggle 2 unless it's like breaking your way and obvious, and then you are starting to game plan for struggle 3.
Yeah.
So
And so
let me
with
just,
all
like,
of that in mind, my only point is pay attention to the center being a place to like come back to, and to like centrally position your units so that they have easy access to the center, because a move to the center gives you more opportune movements to other places on the board, because the center is where you can branch out from. So even if
So
it's
I
not the
will-
scoring place.
I will concede, if you are going into this with the plan of kind of sort of conceding struggle 2, then
I don't think
yes,
you should do that for what it's worth, but
yeah. But I think if you're kind of playing from the position of I am going to like win struggle 1, and then I'm going to expect that struggle 2 is going to be hard, and maybe if I figure out a way to win, then I win. Then like I would concede that in that situation, maybe you do put a little bit more emphasis on the center. I was approaching this directly from the perspective of, if you want to win struggle 1 and then win struggle 2, I feel like this helps you, and overcommitting to the center hurts you in that plan.
I don't think that you should overcommit to the center. So I have played chess. I played a fair amount of chess. I'm not a great chess player. I
played
throw
very little
random
chess,
elements.
and I'm sure I'm an awful chess player.
I like the random elements of these miniature games that I play instead of playing chess. But I think that there is a lot that chess offers to people who are playing miniature war games, because it's a strategy game. And so one of the major points of chess that I have, correctly or incorrectly absorbed, is that the middle is very important. Overcommitting to the middle is as much of a mistake as any other mistake you can make in the game. But controlling the middle gives you incredible options to dictate the rest of the game. And I do tend to approach my miniatures games like that. Now, not everything has this great, keypad layout, right? So right now, this is the only mission
we could have another
for
struggle that's going to totally change all of this,
Absolutely.
right? Like, this is just talking about this struggle.
Right.
I'm going to drop a hot take here. I'm going to say, if you are putting more than one unit on the center in struggle 1, and you are not just conceding struggle 2, I would call that a mistake. Maybe not everyone agrees with me, and that's fine. That is my current feelings on the matter.
I think that terrain and like the pieces that you brought to the game have as much bearing on that decision-making process as just a general approach. So you can
That's
approach that
probably
from
fair.
turn 0.
Yeah,
Right?
I
And
think
if you approach from turn 0 and that's your whole thing, like, good, yeah, awesome. Like that's a
Yeah.
whole, like, at that point, you're Dyzard walking into a 7-man tournament and being like, I have more games in this entire room under my belt. Like, I'm just saying, like, at that point, you're thinking about the game in ways that are going to give you an advantage in the game, and that's huge.
Coffee said what I was just about to say anyway, is I do feel like this may not apply to as someone who's playing everything right now, and I can
that's
adjust
fair.
my strategy, it's a little bit different, where I'm like, okay, with this in mind, what do I want to play? If you're trying to play Galactic Republic, I feel like you are going to have to make some concessions around the terrain regardless. And I think Coffee is right that Galactic Republic benefits a little bit more than the others from like having the middle, because like Cody in the middle is probably the only spot where I don't hate him.
I don't even play Cody, but I see the point of it.
You have Padme. You have Ahsoka. You have Padawan Ahsoka. Like, don't.
I mean, it only matters for another month, right? But yeah.
Thanks. All right. Are we ready to get into what are some signs to identify who's going to win struggle 1?
Please.
All right.
Dyzard
So
at his tournament with all noobs.
all noobs. I mean, there was one guy that was like not a noob.
I know, I'm being hyperbolic. I'm trying to be wild.
We're
honest.
podcasters.
It's so
We're,
This is the
serious.
internet. This
we're
is the internet. We're
podcasters.
messing with you.
Everything we say is hyperbolic.
Omnus, how many tournaments did you win last weekend?
300.
All of the ones I played in my mind.
But none in real life, right? Because that's how many I won last
Dude,
weekend.
my mind is in real life. Like it exists.
Okay,
It's not in the
okay.
Matrix.
You're kind of defeating the point of what I'm doing here, which is to make that like Dyzard is the butt of our jokes because
Oh,
this guy like
wow.
went out and like produced. And
Crushed
so now we're just
noobs.
like
Yeah, I mean,
I went in there.
People
Oh
won a
man,
tournament so far.
They,
Dyzard's the
at-
only one on this podcast
at-
that has won a tournament so far.
at the
so
at the
he's
end
not
of
bad.
Here we
it,
go.
at
Here
the
we
end of
go.
it, they were
There
like,
it
"Are we
is.
gonna do this every single month?" And they're like, "We can just do it at the end of July, so that way we got Vader and Grand Inquisitor and all that." I was like, "Yeah, then I'll come in and crush you guys all with Vader," and everyone's kind of like, "Oh."
You literally said that to them after
Yeah.
watching them?
Man, I
didn't
remember when
even
you were
buy
like,
them
no,
a
nobody
beer?
quit Shatterpoint. And now I'm like, wait, everybody just quit Shatterpoint.
Nobody shows up to the next event after Vader comes out.
You're like, sorry,
good
Todd.
times. All right. So, what are some signs to identify who's going to win Struggle 1? I think the moment the person, like somebody doesn't return score, is a good indication
Wait,
of.
What do you mean by return score?
So, I score 3, and you have no way to come back at 3. So, I end up getting that leg. So, let's say I score 3 and a wound. And the most you can do on your next turn is score 2 and a wound.
And
So
no
that
wound.
puts and no wound. I think it's a 2-point deficit is where you start to realize who's going to win. I don't think the 1-point deficit really matters as much as the 2-point deficit. As soon as that 2-point deficit is scored, it's very much starting to seal the deal. And if your
I'm not even
opponent,
looking at momentum for what that's. I'm not even looking at momentum.
yeah,
Until they can swing it back onto their side of the board.
or really, if you really want to get down to simple, dirty, like whoever gets down to I need 4 to score first. That's
I mean,
very
that
very
feels very fair. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, I feel like I'm on the other side of this conversation completely because I see points from like, ooh, they got a big spike. That's great. So that means I can now stall it on their side of the board on like 1-2 for multiple activations and then gain multiple momentum before I make the big swing back to my side. So they've gained no momentum. Like
I think it's a game
I
plan,
don't
I'm
agree
sure.
with that at all, Dyzard.
Okay, so-
I think that does not indicate it in the slightest.
But what indicates who's going to win Struggle 1 to you? How can you identify it?
There you go. Yeah. Boom. Topic.
That is the much harder question, and I think it's going to end up being more subtle in the sense of you have to look at some of the initial activations and
Yeah.
where people are going, and like how easily are you going to be able to counter those plays, and like I think a big part of it is like 4 and 6. Right? Like,
Yeah.
what are those going to look like? How quickly does someone get there? And how quickly does someone take up the space? 'Cause sometimes you'll have a 4 and a 6, and then there's only so much landing zone. I was arguing on our Discord that I don't like having a 4 or a 6, especially, but almost anywhere where there's just like this one piece of like extended third elevation terrain.
But I
that just has
love
this
that because
little
I play them
sliver.
all, man. Like I love
Grievous
it.
is going to aggravate some people when he
'Cause
comes
he-
out.
he'll
He's
take a
the
whole
only thing
spot.
that fits there, right?
I
He's
don't-
going to aggravate
like,
the Grievous player,
but-
and you're like, well, you beat me to
But
it.
but that's where no
Land on some spots.
But that's where the beauty of Premiere is you're gonna be like one of your lists of 4 should have a solution to getting somebody off of that point.
Sure, but I mean, like that's like we are like 3D chess, like
We are 3D chess. We're 8D
level
chess.
steep kung fu,
We're-
right? Like
we're 8D
what are you
chess.
doing there? Like to be like, oh, he's got Grievous, so that means I have to get somebody who can get there before him, or I'm just gonna bring my own Grievous. No, I can't bring my own Grievous.
No. It's
Like,
not necessarily not necessarily
4D
that.
chess.
It's no simpler than
Like,
that. It's very much look at the board and you see that there's going to be one of these pieces, these towers from the core set that has a point on it. I
Yeah.
need to bring somebody in this game who is going to be able to pull somebody off of that point. Whether that be
Agreed, but
Maul,
nobody-
Django, or even I take Grievous to block the point and be rude. I
Nowhere near a
think
good enough
Wait a second.
Shatterpoint
Dyzard,
player to be like, I'm going to bring
pause for a
this
second
instead of
here.
that.
Like, I think
Yeah.
you were coming at this from the perspective, like
Of
right
playing
now,
Maul.
like this is very weird for me to be the person who's kind of playing everything, and then we've got a Mandos player basically and a Galactic Republic player, right?
Yeah.
Who kind of have
a
both
Maul
focuses.
player. You have a Maul player.
Maul.
But Maul basically means Mandos because if you're not playing Mandos,
now.
Maul sucks.
Wow.
He-
Wow.
I
he
really wish right now I had the hot take that we have for Rogue Agents.
I feel like all the progress that you guys made, like coming together about Maul, was just like completely trashed in that one.
Maul in
offhand
Separatists
comment.
is not good. Maul in Galactic Republic also not good.
All is always good.
Are you playing Maul with anything other than Commandos?
You can play Maul with like an entire Republic squad instead of Annie and feel fine. For
Django
what that's worth.
and
For that matter.
And
Fifth
you just
Brother?
said you don't like Django anymore, and Gar is better.
no, I
Okay,
said
so I
Gar is
feel like
comparable.
Django and Fifth Brother, like
Okay,
that's
alright.
Yeah, if you go
actually, like,
Django and Brother are really good.
Anyway,
I'm
my-
incredibly scared of that.
Yeah.
backing off from my hot taking for just a second, my point that I was
That's a
trying to
meta
make
squad right there.
was-
That's probably our first actual meta, like
Yeah.
BS squad.
GI Django Fifth Brother. I'm calling right now.
the
I don't
point
even
that I
think
was
it's
trying
GI.
to
It's
make
gonna be
was
whatever
that
primary is just like
if you're approaching how you are playing it from the
This is
perspective
GI.
of an
Maybe Maul,
individual
maybe Maul.
team,
Yeah, fuck on this.
I don't have to contribute.
All right, no, I'm listening.
I'm sorry, Charles. I'm sorry.
I'm done. I made my point. Those who are listening are listening.
The people heard it. The people heard you.
No, but
The problem is
I
that we didn't.
Yeah, you guys didn't.
no, I heard you. I heard
Play
you.
all the
I heard you.
polls
Oh, sorry.
to
I'm
play
sure.
polls to like play my strategy. Then yes, of course, to play your strategy, you have to have all the polls. Do you think
Yeah.
Finger Guns is over here going like Galactic Republic isn't good because I'm not playing Maul or Django?
No,
he's
no,
not.
I
He feels
disagree.
fucking great with his team too.
No, because Obi's freaking nuts.
Obi might be the
Obi
best
might be.
primary
Obi.
game.
I'm not gonna lie. Hot take alert. I told you this is gonna be. I told you this is gonna be a hot episode, and you doubted me, and we've made this.
I
a
did.
hot
I did. I
episode.
doubted you. I doubted you. I didn't think
Number
you were
one,
gonna disagree with me.
I ain't gonna lie. Like I 100% think Obi is the best primary that is currently out.
Well, he's the only. He's one of like 5 I've played with. So I can tell you of the 5 that I played with, the one game I played with.
I mean, Omnus has played everything.
I was like, I really. This game is so much harder without Obi
the launch tank status is otherwise. Also,
I
Coffee
think if you're
Time
trying to play
says
Republic without Obi-Wan, you're probably
you're wrong.
making it.
You're wrong.
Like,
I'm not very much of a person.
Kind of makes Republic function.
I played Animal,
But I'm
and
calming
it
down
was-
on
it
my
was fine and
opinion that
functional, but-
he's the best.
I am not one to say you shouldn't do that, but if you're playing Galactic Republic, you should be playing Obi.
Yeah,
Like
Obi
absolutely.
is what makes
mean-
them work.
Come on. Hello there. So uncivilized.
No, he's just
So
fucking good.
uncivilized.
Like he's just fucking
Mustache
good.
twirl.
He's
Like,
just
why
good.
would
Uncivilized
you not
pisses me
want to
off.
play Obi-Wan?
I have to spend it before I see that they have failures, and then I spend 1 to gain a hunker, and then they don't
Oh,
take 3 damage.
Oh,
Who
and guess
cares?
what?
Who
Guess what?
cares?
Guess what?
You got a
When-
hunker.
When Vader comes out, he can roll fucking 13 dice and guarantee a tree. Like, anyways, I
What the
digress.
fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I don't know.
Vader's very good.
Vader's very good with Obi. But identifying struggle 1, I don't really know. Like, because you brought up a very good point where it's like, do I really identify when struggle 1's going to end and when, like, can you really tell? And I feel like when you can tell, it's probably too late. And like you can start to make adjustments if you're on the losing side. But do those adjustments truly matter? And I think your whole philosophy of 4 and 6 is the big key here. And that is if I focus 4 and 6 with the most of my team and then minimally God words minimally commit to the central.
Nailed it.
then I'm better just set up for the rest of the game in general. Especially if my pieces that are central are mobile enough to be able to get out and then back in when it matters. Yeah, because it's like it's so spread out after struggle 1.
But this is 2 into 3 here, right? So like that's the same map. Like that's like Pam Beasley is like this is the same picture. So what you guys are saying is not wrong. Absolutely.
No.
Right? Because we're
I-
literally like taking 1 point and making it slightly more central.
Which honestly, if it comes down to it, and we're looking at this as like struggle analysis, 4 and I actually I 100% agree with Omnus. 4 and 6 are the most pivotal points of the game for probably struggle 1 and struggle 2, which is 2/3 of the game, almost 3/4 of the game.
So
my only point is if you stay central, you have access to all these points.
Not
Like
if you're
this
no.
pairing right here. This is the pairing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Going from one of these into the other is
Okay,
one
but
of those moments.
okay, so let's say
sorry, for the people, blast your way out, and so much for the element of surprise.
Okay, so
you're going from.
Let's say I commit Magna, like Omna said,
7.
I commit Magna Guard Central. Like, what are they doing in struggle 2?
Models you choose. Why are you?
Because it is. It's 100% is about the models you choose.
2 high mobility units.
Okay.
To force a central point.
Okay. Moral of the story is
you can gangplay one way or gangplay the other.
Moral of the story is can you actually tell at a reasonable point of time of the game who's going to win struggle 1? And I think Omnus has convinced me you can't.
1 to 2. I think you have 1 to 2 turns. And by 1 to 2 turns, I mean it is the start of your activation.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
It is the end of your opponent's activation. Are you there? Are you there?
Coffee was commenting on the Anakin and Obi stats.
Yeah.
That's quantity of play. That's quantity of play.
And I do want to, after playing all of them, I feel like playing Anakin and Obi is the hardest of the 3 builds. All Seps, all Mandos, all Republic. I feel like it's way easier to make mistakes with Anakin and Obi's squad.
I am playing the game on hard mode. You're right.
You're X-Force.
I don't feel like it for what
Will they just end up being the advanced force when you figure them out? But like, especially playing with lots of terrain like I felt like I was constantly solving a much harder puzzle than what I ever was playing Mandos or even Seps. Like the amount of mobility and stuff that it was generated was very, very different.
My round 3 opponent had said playing like the all Mandos list is very much the most forgiving team you can play because it fixes your mistakes and it capitalizes on your opponent's mistakes.
It's all B pluses.
Yeah.
Right? Like you bring like the A- primaries and you bring the B+ secondaries and supports. And now you're like,
well, it certainly helps that Bo is the best character in Shatterpoint. Like that does not hurt Mandos.
I can't tell you how many times having Bo is probably one you want central because 1, she's mobile, and 2, she's like that range is like nuts.
She's great.
But Bo you want central because then she can impact on your 4 and 6.
But
anyways,
I definitely prefer my clones on the outside for what that's worth. As we're talking
trying
about
to predict the long game in Shatterpoint is probably a mistake. I don't think you can be like, to a certain extent, going, I have already figured out.
Every game is a long game.
Wrong.
No, I don't mean by like pace of the clock. I mean literally like it's all a long game. Like this is a very like forward thinking game.
Yeah.
There's 5-finger death punches where you made a mistake 3 turns ago and you realize it now. Ouch, that hurt. And it's also I'm going to win this struggle in 2 turns unless something drastically changes. Okay.
But I think the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes it's just the order that the activation stuff comes up. And like, say you have a long struggle 1, right? Absolutely. Like what comes up as your first card can be a huge difference. Like I've certainly had games just end because Anakin comes up at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just like, oh, Anakin can just end shit right now. But nobody else on the list could do that.
Run over and walk away. Anakin coming up at the right time and rolling the right dice. Come on.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. I think
never had Anakin not deliver unless he can't make attacks. Like
I think,
or you just
I think that we are all in agreement here. Though is struggle 1 is you pretty much focus on struggle 1 until that like you're within 4 or your opponent's within 4 of winning.
You don't get a lot of notice, right? Because your notice is, oh, I can score out this turn. Yeah. Or it's, if he doesn't score 3 this turn, I can score out on my turn. Which
I will say
is the same. Now you can take like 1 turn back, and that's about as far as I think you can go.
I think if you look and you see that your opponent got 1 away from winning the struggle, and you don't have anything significant that you can do,
Oh golly.
then
yeah.
you just plan for the next struggle, right?
Yeah.
Like you move someone away from the center, right? Because you're going to try to win struggle 2.
There you go.
Right?
There
Like,
you go. Yes.
All right.
yes.
No, I agree.
But you
I
had
agree.
someone
maybe-
there.
maybe
Maybe that's where you went wrong.
You're probably right. Maybe you can see that one turn before that, but I think that even that might be a little hard, or like it may be that you're like, my opponent's in an advantage position, and then you just can't do anything significant, or like you go for something and it just fails, like you're activating Maul and like he just doesn't push anyone. You try to pull someone off, but then they don't quite get off of the point, and you're just like, okay, maybe. But at that point, again, it's kind of too late. You're going to have one activation to kind of like maybe do something that shifts towards the next struggle.
All right. So let's go into the next struggle. Is there a way to identify who is going to win or lose struggle 2?
My opponent, because I gave up on it.
If you won struggle 1, sure, but if you give up on struggle 2 because
right.
you
I
lost
know,
struggle
right?
1.
Yeah, well then it's time to just go pound beers in the parking lot. Like,
But no, I don't know. Like
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I and this will come up later, but it's very much, if I'm looking at struggle 2, like every time, I swear, when you flip that card and you look at where it's at and they choose A or B, like who's gonna win struggle 2. More like I would say I would give it okay, I'll agree with that statement. Currently in the game, with us all being fresh newbies, I would say it's honestly, if you lost struggle 1, you are probably 70-30 to win struggle 2.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
I mean, but like think about it though. Like if you're on like
Maybe if you overcommitted to the middle.
Snake 3-7, right? So it's like right? You're in Snake 3-7 or you're in Snake 1-9, right? And you had to overcommit to one of those side points that has now become
Just don't commit. Just don't ever
in the next
overcommit.
Sure, but
4-6. I Omnus is right. 4-6. Let's go 4-6 all the way.
Oh, sure.
Well, so the other thing to think about here is it impacts where you're at with the order deck, right?
Yeah.
Because if you were like most of the way through struggle 1, or like struggle 1 finishes and you've got like one activation maybe left in the order deck, and then you're gonna have a total reshuffle, that reshuffle is huge.
It is.
Like
I'm actually curious about that. I have been noticing more as of late. In the early days, sure, it doesn't matter. But like as of late, 1 month into the game, which is still early days, 1 month into the game, I have noticed struggle 1 finishes with probably 1 more card left in the first shuffle. 1, maybe 2. And if it's a really,
I find that pretty normal. Yeah.
And I would say like if it's been like a real slugfest and a very much parity game to where you couldn't find the edge, then, or your opponent couldn't find the edge, then you're like into the first or second draw of the next shuffle. But that's more rare in my opinion. I think more often than not, you're ending struggle 1 with like 1 card left, or you literally just finish.
Quite a lot. How do you guys feel about the random element?
I don't think I really don't think it matters.
I think that we need bonus points. I don't like the random element. The random element makes me go, there are games that I'm just going to straight lose, and there are games that I'm just going to straight win.
My only complaint is I wish that there was a clause that said it cannot be the same point 2 turns in a row.
What if
that feels better? I'd like to see it so it's the one you flip. So like if it's an uncontested point, then you get a bonus point, or if it was a contested point,
or
now it's yours.
What if it was you turned the card, you rolled a die, and it was that same point for the rest of the struggle?
God, no.
That's interesting too.
I think like
could be way worse though. Yes, because now it's random for the game as opposed to random for right now.
Yeah.
That could be.
No, it sounds
really
painful.
That's the same. That's mission critical in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're just hitting fast forward.
What you could do is you could do random, and then it moves in an order.
Yeah.
Right, like if you could have them numbered on the card, like 1, 2, 3, then you random it to begin with, and then it moves down, and then just keeps resetting.
Is that so? This is this mission, right? Like that's what like this set of struggles is.
So,
yeah, the next
okay,
mission pack may not have that rule.
No, wrong.
Awesome.
Oh, sorry. Yes, right. From
Yay!
my understanding.
Right, wrong,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Okay. So I guess
on the
we probably
struggle card
we probably
that's
should
in
have
the
talked
struggle
about
deck.
this. From my understanding, there was some wording that I was looking at the other day, and it almost made it seem like it'll always be the 9 points.
I mean, I think having 9 points is smart, but I think it will.
It makes it easy to
absolutely be
set up.
It's going to be a different 9 points for
I don't-
sure because
I
they don't
don't-
want us marking mats.
I don't think anything locks them into the same 9 points, but I do think it's always gonna be 9 points, and I do think that like the there really isn't that many other ways you could put it. It's just which ones are going to be active is what's going to be different.
So
No,
the
the 9
shifting
points
priorities card is what says that you roll the die and get the extra
Correct.
scoring.
Yes.
So that may not exist in the other struggle packs. That might
Correct.
be this pack specifically, which was Finger Gun's question. To which Dyzard said was wrong, and then said was right, and then said was wrong, and then said was right. Shit, he's gone. We can do our thing.
Oh, what's that beer label say? Wait, I can probably read mine for what that's
I don't
worth.
actually have.
Unsatisfied with a life is a common quadruped, shunned
Yes.
the world over for radical beliefs, banned from playing any wombat games. A young wombat set forth on a journey of mastery and self-discovery that altered the course of their species for generations. This is the way of the mortal.
This is the way.
wombat.
It
It
literally
literally
end with
says this is the way.
Oh my god!
This is
I
the
have to
way
find this.
of the mortal wombat.
You moved it so it's not on the screen for the actual Twitch. I can't believe Dyzard missed that, and we cannot fill him in.
What?
No,
That's
nothing.
even
Nothing
better.
happened.
Nothing.
We were totally
No.
silent the entire time while you were
Yeah.
gone.
We talked about
130.
questions and gave no answers. No, I accidentally hit a button that marked a thing.
Oh,
That's all.
okay.
Ignore it, please.
All right. But I definitely think like the more we've talked about this, the more it's like struggle 1, it's hard to identify. Struggle 2, arguably it's too easy to identify currently. This could absolutely change. And then struggle
it's either
3.
you can identify in struggle 2, or the crisis die will tell you
Yeah.
who is going to win struggle 2.
All right. So now I think to close this out, do you feel if you win struggle 1, you're just set to win the game?
No, but I
Wait,
do
so
feel
is
like
this
I'm gonna drive
is this
it.
our final segment? This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got to tell them about the segment then.
Well, no, yeah, that's after this.
No, not yet.
This sounds like the final segment.
No, this is part of the struggle talk.
Okay.
So if you were to win struggle 1, do you think you're just set to win struggle 2 or win the game?
No, but I'm driving.
Yes.
Ooh. I'm actually with Sam. I say no.
That is icy.
And I'm gonna say real quick. I actually asked everybody at the end of the event, and there was multiple cases where people won 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I don't, and I agree. I don't think if you win struggle 1, you're just advantaged to win the game. It was very even across the board of what happened.
I think, honestly,
I think the dice
random
gods will have
in
to
two-
shit on me like I am the worst fucking thing ever.
It's 'cause
for me
you're-
to lose 2 and 3 in a row.
It's because you hated them all.
I've done it. The random element in 2 feels a lot worse when you lose 1, and your opponent's like, "What?" And you're like, "Oh, great, okay." So I picked the one that I thought was right, but then I didn't get it when I needed it. He was in a more advantageous position to come and swarm points that I thought that I could maintain, and it turns out that I can't, and now it's over because it was the one point that they thought, but
Coffee in the chat says mathematically your advantage. I just wanted to point this out. I just want to hear your thoughts.
Sure.
But Coffee, go ahead and let me know why you say mathematically your advantage. Omnus, what are your thoughts? Why do you say yes, you're
only have
more
to win
likely
one
to
more.
win?
So I think as soon as you are playing games from the like when you first play, right? Like it's really easy to go into struggle 2 and feel disadvantaged, right? We probably all played a game that felt that way. I think as you get experience, I think you can absolutely play the game in such a way where if you're at disadvantaged, it's not by much. And then when you start having a 45% chance or even 40, if you have a 40% chance to win struggle 2, and then at worst case 50% to win struggle 3, and that's that's
How are you
not
determining those?
These are just random numbers. I'm just
I
saying.
love
Like, my point is
You're not a betting man, or you are actually.
So you're saying that you basically say, I think that I have this percentage to win the next struggle.
I'm using it as in a hypothetical,
Yeah.
as in, like, I've gone into a struggle 2 and felt like I'm fucked in this, right? And like felt like I was in a really bad position.
Sure.
And maybe if you assign a number to how bad I felt, maybe I felt like I had a 75% chance to lose it, right? But then as you start kind of figuring out how you can play around going into struggle 2, and you can like choose to end struggle 1 at a point where you also get to like move yourself into a better position for struggle 2, and you start seizing that advantage a little bit better, then suddenly it's not a 75% chance to lose. Maybe it's only 50, maybe it's only 60. Like, and then you start getting to the point where it's like pretty close to 50%. Then at that point, I think the idea of losing struggle 1, and like, if you win struggle 1 and you felt like that was kind of lucky, like I barely got through that, and that was a miraculous stroke of luck, then that's different. But when you like lock in struggle 1 and you are then not in an awful position going into struggle 2, man, I just don't feel like I'm going to lose that many of those.
I don't know, because I very much think that you're
literally said that earlier in the
podcast. Your opponent could very easily just give you struggle 2 if they're, 1, not informed, and 2.
Can I stop you?
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you finish. But
why are you stopping me?
How many struggle 1s did you win on Saturday?
I'm not going to talk about that. Anyways, all of them.
All right. Just
but honestly, like, so let's
privilege.
Let's look at that though. Is like every single round 1,
He's got the pop, boys. He's got the position of privilege.
I really took a dive.
Finger guns.
Like, I took a dive to win struggle 1. I was like, I'm going to just sink these guys.
Okay, that sentence doesn't even make sense. I took a dive to
no.
struggle 1.
As in, like,
I dove on the points.
Yeah, I dove on the point.
Not like took a dive.
Don't say it like that. Though.
Okay, so
I aggressively took advantage of the point and then won the struggle. I took a dive. That's like I lost you in a bet.
Basically, what ended up happening, like the end of struggle 1, was I
took a dive.
Rushed. There you go. Coffee time. Coffee time just rushed.
Okay, I rushed. No, I scored 4 to close out struggle 1. Scored 4 and got a wound. Because it was like it needed to happen. And it was very much I say dive because I basically said I am sacrificing struggle 2 and all means of even having a chance on struggle 2 just to win struggle 1. And sure enough, he flipped struggle 2, and I was like, I have no way of winning this struggle. Like, as soon as it flipped, I was like, there's no fucking way. And then struggle 3 flipped, and it was like, there's no way he wins this struggle, because I was like, I immediately had a way to get a wound and 4 points on struggle 3.
So you were like, I'm going to abandon my 7th point, and we're just going to...
Basically, yeah. But it's very much just, like, play the game, I guess. I like, at the end of this, I felt really good coming into this topic, and at the end of it, I feel like we've just, like...
I feel like what you wanted to talk about in this episode and what I wanted to talk about in this episode
very different.
ended up being totally different.
We talked about a lot, though.
I was here to make sure that we didn't talk about anything.
That's true.
Sam's here to derail both of us.
But I don't know. I still think something like actually like worthwhile came out of this, and that really is struggle 1, focus 4 and 6. At the end of the day,
that was probably my moral of the story.
I think that's the moral of the story.
And Sam is like, I don't like.
Don't ignore the middle. Sure.
2 against 1 wins, Sam.
No, I'm just saying center line. So you're saying 4 and 6, and I'm saying don't ignore the middle.
Yeah.
4 and 6.
You don't ignore them. Like, there's
no,
nobody on there,
attention.
and you can take it with a mobile
take
piece.
it.
Fucking take it.
Because that's gonna be that round. That's gonna be that flip. That's that pull that you're scoring for, and that closes out struggle 1. That is that pull.
I'm just saying, like, if you're at a point where like they have 2 units on there and you have 3, something has gone awfully wrong in the game, and you should not be making those decisions.
My freaking first round, I think both of us had 3 units on the center struggle.
See, this is what I'm talking about. That's championship Shatterpoint play right there. Top tables, bottom tables look the same for completely different reasons.
But no, but that's the thing though. Is like, what was the reason for doing that? Was because I couldn't allow him to score that much, and he couldn't allow me to score that much. So we're fighting over in his wound for wound, back to back. So it's super fun.
All right. Well, I think we should wrap up this segment and get to our announcement. And
Okay.
Because we've got
real quick,
cover, boys.
Real quick to close out this episode. Wow, Omnus. Do you guys have anything to close out struggles? My biggest point is I 100% agree with Omnus. 4 and 6 are the most pivotal points as far as it comes to shifting priorities.
My point has been clear. I feel no need to further emphasize it. Sam.
If you don't like randomness, play chess. If you like randomness, play literally anything but chess, and you'll probably have a good time, including Shatterpoint, which you should definitely check out. But pay attention to principles from chess, like don't ignore the middle.
All right, and with that, it's time for our big announcement. Number 1
segment.
What?
Let's do the segment first, and then the announcement.
Oh shit! I forgot about the segment. All right.
Yeah.
First of all, we have a huge.
The council.
We have a new segment for the show called "Addressing the Council." How we're going to close out these shows, and it's going to be basically where we ask each other questions, or spoiler alert, a patron will ask the question.
So we've done this all throughout all the episodes anyway, where at random points during the show, we all of a sudden are just like, hey, how do you guys feel about, like, do you reserve the Shatterpoint card? Yes or no? Blah, 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 blah. And then we each kind of like shotgun our answers, and it just like interrupts the segment. And we just decided, let's close out the show with this segment. Sam, are you okay?
I'm still going to do that, but there is going to be an official segment.
All right, Omnus, what do you want to address the council with this week?
Shit, I have one, and I specifically put it into our chat so
Yeah,
that I would not forget what it is.
It's probably buried
and I
by
opened
now.
up the chat because I was prepared because I knew I was not going to remember it. All right, so here's my question for the squad for
squad
for this scum and villainous little crew of miscreants that have all abandoned.
No greater hive.
Yeah.
No greater hive.
You know, Obi-Wan abandons the Jedi and goes into hiding. Darth Maul abandons the Sith and goes into hiding. And Mando just doesn't give a fuck anyway. He does whatever.
It's true.
He
I
wants.
stole some meat.
Yeah. You did steal some meat. That's right. Fucking thieving ass Jedi. Steal babies and steal meat.
What have you been drinking at night?
I was hungry. I stole some meat.
What didn't answer the question of the slightest. All right, address the council, Omnus. What do we
My
got?
question. My Tatooine map. Should I mark the 9 spots? Yes or no? What do you guys think?
No. It's too early. No.
Too early?
Yeah, because what if they come out with another map and it's like just slightly skewed square?
That's
Then
still
you
not
look
that many spots.
then you look stupid.
No, I don't look stupid then.
No,
I
you
mean,
look
maybe
stupid.
down the road, like when there's like 4 struggles,
Yeah.
and then maybe I start feeling like there's too much. But
Honestly, I think the fact that you can literally set up a map for Shatterpoint in probably a minute because of how easy it is. Because it's just 5 and 4. It's all it is. It's 5s and 4s.
No, like, so here's the thing though. Like when I'm setting up, especially like I've got 2 core sets plus 2 high grounds.
Okay, so that's my other point.
I think it's like I would like to kind of see where the spots are so I could position like, oh, I want to position this spot where I can put it like right in the middle of this piece of terrain where sometimes I set everything up and then I'm measuring. I'm like, oh, well, now the token's like half off this piece of terrain.
Okay, how about this?
Shuffle half the board?
I think if you were to mark your mats, I would just put like a dot or an X, not a full circle.
What about a circle, but it's like a very light color? Like it's not that different than the mat.
This is faster.
Sam, what do you think? Yes, no?
I say no. I'm not doing it yet.
Listeners, stream chat, tell me what you think. But anyway, that's the way we're gonna do it. Like, it's not meant to be a shit ton of discussion. It's just gonna be like, hey, what do you guys think?
No.
Yes,
no. I say half. Like, do it, but I wouldn't do full circles.
Dude, it's either circles or not doing it. Like, I'm not doing like little X's or little dots or something.
Dot.
It's set up.
And I say don't do it. It's too easy in this game.
Hard.
I mean, Coffee's got a reasonable answer. Wait till you see Struggle 2
Yeah,
and then decide.
that's fair.
But,
My biggest thing is there's so much terrain on this game that you're not going to see the dots anyways.
Yeah,
right,
they're
like,
not gonna-
you're definitely, like, most of the time this shit's going to be covered anyway, but it would just be
Yeah.
kind of nice to see. But anyway, that's mine. Does anyone else have a address the council for this episode? Dyzard, you had one
I
earlier
just
that we were
submitted
supposed to
mine
remind you
in
of.
process.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it.
So we reminded
Everybody-
you that you needed
so-
to say it, but
So
you didn't remind-
everybody reminded me. So I had like 3 people message me, like literally 3 people DM me and said, "Hey, you have something to say at the end of the show," but with no reference to what I was talking about at that moment.
You probably wanted to say that Omnus is both very intelligent and very pretty and generally right, and you should listen
Pretty.
to him, and his beard is excellent. That's probably what you wanted to address the council with.
That seems about right. And sour monkeys are delicious.
That's
so
perfect Dyzard right there.
all right. So addressing the council, I would say.
You don't have to come up with something. Like, okay, well, let's
No,
explain
no,
the Patreon thing, and then you
Okay.
can address the council.
All
if
right,
you still have
so
something.
first of all, I guess third of all, fifth of all, whatever it is, we are launching a Patreon because we are podcasters. I guess that's what you do. No, in all reality,
Pitch that strong, Dyzard.
you're not wrong.
There has to be. It has to be. This
So
way.
in all
You can charge
reality,
us
it
for
has
things.
to be
So
this
we're gonna
way.
ask you
All
for
the cool emojis, all the cool gifs, all that stuff. No, anyways, I don't know. I've always felt like content creators do definitely unless you're on this side of the fence, you don't realize how much time goes into this stuff. And I'm not really a sap for like saying, "Hey, support us, keep the lights on," because my lights are always going to be on.
Sam always turns his lights off, though. Like,
But-
how
We're
much
not
do we
there
have to
yet, but
contribute
when
to keep
the
his
time
lines
comes.
on?
But
You want my lights on?
the
Who wants to
moral of the
see more of
story
this?
is basically people always want to contribute. People always want to donate to pods, and they want to support content creators, which I wholeheartedly enjoy,
You
and
don't know
I
what
am
to do with your
thankful.
money, or you want to give it to me. I am not going to turn you away.
And with that being said, we as the Rogue support are launching a Patreon. The biggest thing is we're only going to set it at 1 tier. You don't have to choose which tier you want or how much you have to support. It's just going to be one $5 tier, which gives you access to our super secret Discord channel. There's 2 of them actually, and a voice channel. And so that gives you access to that. It'll give you a perk of being able to voice a Ask the Council question. And it'll give you access to at least 1, but probably more bonus episodes per month. And there's one other perk, wasn't there? God, what was it? Channel?
You get to get the hottest of hot takes from us in these patron channels because we.
Yes, one of the patrons.
Oh,
we
yeah.
called-
The
we
Rancor
called
pit.
it the Rancor pit, and Dyzard made a
Those
special
takes are hot.
emoji
Those takes
so
are hot.
so that you can stick a Rancor emoji on it, which is meant to be like, your hot take is so hot, we are throwing you into the Rancor pit.
I'm gonna keep a spreadsheet that keeps track of how many of your hot takes got sent to the Rancor. Like it'll be pinned to the channel for
love
everybody
it.
to watch.
I've already
yeah.
dropped
Oh,
a
this
couple
is
in
good.
there.
This
I've
is-
already
I
dropped
need to
a
go.
couple
I
in
need to
there.
go back and look. And there was one other perk, but I can't really remember what it is.
We'll give you something at some point, but it probably won't be through the mail.
What was it? It was
No,
yeah,
it's
because we're
not.
terrible at that. We decided to do reasonable things, reasonable perks. But basically, that's what it is. $5 a month. It'll get you bonus episodes, addressing the council, access to the super secret Discord channel category thing, and God, there's one more. What is it, Almost? I'm really drawing a blank on what this
There's
is.
no more.
I'm going
call
to-
it here.
I'm
And
going
if
to
you get
Patreon.
more, that's great, right?
Yeah, there's
So,
one.
like,
There's
of the
one
main
other
things
thing.
was we
Going
thought
all
it'd
the
be
way
fun for the listeners to be able to like, oh, do you have a question that you want to like pose and like have it be part of Address the Council?
That's
and
why.
Then
That's why.
we will like answer it and be like, hey, this one, and then the other one, because I remember what it is that
A
we
shout
are
out.
going to shout out
That's super simple.
the most simple. When you
easiest.
when you become a patron, we are also going to shout you out in the show.
All right. So if you'd like to become a patron, Patreon, whatever you call those things,
They are a patron. The site is Patreon.
for us, you're gonna be a scoundrel. So you get the cool title of scoundrel and our love and enduring hearts forever. And
We are also launching a blog And so
Yes.
if you are a content creator, like you will want to write something for the blog, we are also going to automatically add you to the section. So you got to be a scoundrel. So even if you're like, hey, I do not like, I've got 17 kids.
Wait, so if I'm a
they're,
scoundrel, I get access to content, just like more content.
Well,
like I get
the
like,
blog is
content
going to be for
creators
everyone.
Have my
Yeah.
beck and call.
Okay, so
and
that-
I get
that
the
couples-
hosts of this show.
that
have my beck and
couples-
call.
That couples into the
and-
second announcement, and that is we are launching the Rogue Support blog site thing.
That's
Could you sound a little less excited about that, Dyzard? Like, could
I spent a
you
lot of time on
actually-
it.
You just sounded so
I love having
unhyped. You're
kids
like,
because that used to be me.
guys, we're gonna also like launch a blog thing, and I think there's gonna be like some words on the internet.
Anyways,
I saw that.
about,
um,
I have a background in web design.
Star
Next
Wars
time, just ask
thing,
me to do stuff.
and-
Why didn't you tell me this? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Want to do it?
I said I'm just
now
gonna
that you've laid
build.
the foundation, I will come in. I will swoop in, and
All
I will
right.
save you from all of this extra.
I will give you the login information, and you can make it look better. Because I'm not gonna lie, like this is my first time ever doing anything WordPress related, other than like just posting stuff to across the Bifrost. So it's rough. I won't deny that it is rough, and my about me is completely a joke. I kind of want to read it because it's actually really juicy.
Mine, I'm really happy with mine.
Send it to me.
It's brief. Words.
Words. Oh, that's
I will
actually
write
gonna be
up a
yours.
legitimate one.
Okay,
No,
let me read.
I'll give you a real bio, but
Let me-
for now, I really do appreciate that.
I want to read mine. Ulysses wrote his, and I was like, oh my god. Okay, so
He
about
sounds professional as
yeah, he
fuck.
sounds professional. All right, so I'm gonna read Ulysses first because Ulysses is joining
he's written a
us.
bio before.
He's Ulysses is joining us, and he's gonna be a blog writer for the site. And he already has an article up there, so I will be posting links for that in wherever you find your Star Wars Shatterpoint content. But here is Ulysses' bio. Ulysses has played a wide variety of miniature games throughout the years. The main games that he has played competitively are War Machine, Infinity, Kill Team, and Marvel Crisis Protocol. Ulysses is best known for his fanatical obsession with playing Thanos and Black Order in MCP. Ulysses enjoys writing tactics articles and tactics-focused-based battle reports, something that he did for MCP and will try to do for Shatterpoint. And I have on there that he is the writer of articles. Now let's look at my bio. Started gaming at a young age, destined to love evil Sith and baddies in the Star Wars universe, with a first favorite being Vader, shortly after being dethroned by the one, the only Darth Maul. His love for cyborg characters never falters as he quickly clung to Lord Maul in the game of Shatterpoint will never cease to let people forget it. You can expect him to be overextending himself with projects, yet passionate about every single one, because peace is a lie. There is only passion. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was good. Anyways, so we're launching the site and the Patreon. I'll have the links in the description, and I'll post it in different areas for people to get access to. If you would like to support us, we would be eternally grateful, as it does actually support things like actually getting our own domain for the site, and as well as I mean, to be
Covering the cost for
yeah,
Riverside, covering the cost
Thank
you.
of hosting the Discord, covering the
that's the
cost
big
of Sam's alcoholism, like all of those things are.
No,
No,
one
we
pays
pay for
but
that.
me.
and I'll also be honest, like even like I
I'm
think
trying to keep it so my family doesn't even have to pay for it. So
I think one of the best things though is when a Patreon supports a pod to a point where they can spend a little bit of that Patreon money to go to a con and represent. That's really cool in my opinion. Because to be completely honest, I'm going to I'm basically playing Shatterpoint because of the Rogue Kitchen's Patreon.
Stop.
You're right. Edit that out.
Way to dig that hole. Why do you support Dyzard so that he can buy into a different game? Yeah,
Seriously,
pow,
though.
pow, 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 finger guns.
I mean, fair. Yes.
Wait, I'm not getting supported by this.
You're next.
Wait, hold on. We do want Charles to come to Nova with us.
We do want Charles to come to Nova with us, but he probably won't be here this year. It's too soon. And okay, how about this? if we get enough patrons
Depends
to
on how
afford
much
for
they
your
care.
ticket. And I'll talk. All reality. If anybody does decide to support, thank you very much. That is wonderful, people. All jokes aside, Patreon is a wonderful thing, and it supports content creators everywhere. And always support your content creators, because without content creators, you wouldn't be listening to this right now.
I love the circular logic there. That is.
And with that, we have been Rogue Support, your corner of the cantina. And thank you for taking the time to listen to us. As always, we'll be in your corner of the cantina. And don't forget, the most Star Wars thing you could do is drop your maul after destroying your local tourney, and somehow the top half separates from the lower half.
No, picture it didn't happen.
Picture or it didn't happen. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful day of time that you are currently listening to this.
Wall down. Wild omnus.
Welcome, my young apprentice.
Turn your light off. Gosh.
Stretch out with your feelings.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
I'm getting brighter.
I'm bringing out the good stuff.
That's not how that works. Yeah, it goes to after hours. You bring out the Miller Lite. You are such a redneck. You must live in a trailer. I thought it was a good
I'm on the
episode.
second floor of my house.
That was a good episode with the most awful delivery of the Patreon pitch that I have ever heard.
People love me.
I was impressed.
I do love you. That didn't change. Like, I don't, just because of my criticism doesn't mean that you're doing.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's always super weird. Like, I'm always like super torn on, do we do a Patreon or do we not do Patreon? Like, when we first did Patreon for the Danger Room, I was very much like, this feels wrong. Like, I'm asking money from people to do what I enjoy doing.
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
My wife, whenever we're invited anywhere, she's like, what do we have to bring? And I'm like, nothing. They asked us to come because they like us. So we're going to show up and we're going to engage people with how fun we are. And she's like, well, we should probably bring like a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like a fruit platter or like a veggie platter. Should we bring a fruit platter or a veggie platter? I'm like,
fruit platter 100% better than veggie platter. Just
fair
saying.
enough. Fair enough. And so for me, I personally, I'm very uncomfortable with Patreon, but at the same time, it's like I have an accountant's lizard brain, which is like, just let people do what they want to do with their money, and if that includes giving it to me, then like I'm here for it.
To be fair, like people actually really enjoy supporting content creators for his content that they enjoy, and I'm not against that 100%. But it's just
I'm here for it. I would be having this conversation like with or without the podcast.
But it always just I don't know why it just always feels weird to start a Patreon and do it correctly. And being completely honest, like Sam and I 100% overextended ourselves with Rogue Agents.
We made a lot of promises, and I failed to deliver on.
So did I.
Multiple occasions.
And that's why we took the approach of we're gonna under promise, and we're probably gonna get more bonus episodes for the Patreon because we like
content is easy.
Yeah,
more content is easy. It's like stuff, and other times it's hard.
I've done premium content for a bunch of different shows at this point, and I will say one of the things that I never expected. So on my first show, when we were first like, we're going to do another bonus thing and record extra content and charge money, I was very, very nervous about the whole thing. Like, I'm like, I do not deserve this. But man, once you're doing it, like when you hit those weeks where shit's tough, like you're busy, you're worn out, you're undermotivated. Mm-hmm. It's like the people who are like hopping in and being like, hey, I've got no problem supporting you. Thanks for everything that you do. You guys make my week better. Like, I'm here for it. And they're like submitting the bonus questions and telling you how much they love the bonus episode. Like, those people literally like keep you motivated in a way that I cannot explain.
No,
Like-
you're absolutely right. Like I listen to content when I'm exercising for the most part, because exercise is important for everybody, and I'm a big fat old guy, so like it's even more important for me, and I'm really bad at it, so I do very little of it, but I have to do a certain amount of it, and I gotta say, content gets me through so much of that because I'm just like whatever. At least now I can like put this in and I can tune out and I can just think about something that I actually want to be doing right now that isn't going on this run or lifting these weights
Yeah.
or doing this or doing that. That's like I don't want to do the dishes, neither do you. I don't want to be on this commute, neither do you.
Well, and like on vice versa, there are some shows like Strike Better for Marvel Crisis Protocol. I don't want to talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol. This is not that show.
No, but podcasting
it
is
is
different,
it
yeah.
is a podcast that does not have any bonus content, no Patreon. But I'll tell you what, when their fucking main hosts launch a Kickstarter, I supported that shit. And then when they're like having some trouble and shut
I'm
your mouth
interrupting.
and let me finish my
You're
story.
back. What's up? What's
Okay.
happening?
So I went to use the bathroom, right? And the wife, I wanted to go kiss the wife, right? I went and kissed her, and I said, "I love you. I want to be a little bit longer because we're starting to do bonus episodes. So I'm a failure in communication. I forgot to tell her that we're doing bonus episodes." And she's like, "Well, if you're doing a Patreon, I want to do giveaway Star Wars stuff." I was like, "What type of stuff are we going to give away?" And she's like, "It's okay. I got this." So if you become a patron, if you're still here and you're listening to this on YouTube or on Twitch here, apparently my wife will give away Star Wars to patrons. I don't know what type of stuff she's
It's
trying
probably
to
gonna
do.
be like Grogu stuff.
It's probably going to be Grogu stuff.
Grogu is kind of the best. So anyway,
Like,
my
I don't want to go
point
too
was-
far out on this limb, but
Yeah. My point was before we get to recording the bonus episode,
Yeah.
I just want to say like podcasts without Patreon, support their Kickstarters. And then what else can I do? Like they need a co-host for like some crazy shit because people are getting married or people are out of town.
Cool shit.
You volunteer for that shit. Like whatever you can do to support the shows that matter, like that's the sort of shit that keeps them going. And Patreon just makes an easy way because not everybody can co-host, not everybody can like buy into an extra board game or something. And
I mean,
I just killed a moth. I just killed a moth.
That's good. It's also it also like I ain't gonna lie, like it makes you feel like you're doing as a content creator when you have people in your patron. It makes you feel like you're doing a good job because people are willing to give you donations for what you're already doing. It makes you feel. I don't know, it does. I ain't gonna lie.
Like,
Yeah.
be honest.
So-
They're paying for your service.
It also helps in like adult conversations when you like are talking to people in the real world and you're like, you have a podcast,
Oh, I don't expect people to support me in my adult conversations.
but like, so I have no nerd shame. I tell people about the stuff that I'm doing,
Me
but
neither.
I've had,
But
but when I like explain, I'm like, here is how like I've structured my Patreon and like what I get out of it and like how it helps me go to conventions
you get
and
that
like,
detailed with people,
and
I'm
then people
impressed.
are like, oh.
Listen to that.
Oh, you're not just like one of those random people who has a podcast that like 4 people listen to and they're all your family. Like you're
Sure.
a podcaster.
No, we have like
I-
14.
I-
And at least 3 of them
I mean,
might
to be completely honest, like I don't know if I just downplay it, but like when doing Danger Room and Rogue Agents and now this, very early starting out, I'd be like, man, like I feel like we should be pulling more than what we're pulling. And I'd be like, yeah, we're pulling like 1,400 people, and then somebody'd be like, what? Like you're a podcast for a gaming? Like you're pulling that many people? And I'm like,
It's a niche of a niche of a niche.
Yeah,
You know, like when
so-
you think of it that way, it's like gaming,
But to keep things in perspective,
specific game.
I remember
Specific
I was
class of players of that game.
yeah,
I was reading an article about podcasts, and it was basically like if you're pulling more than 1,000 listeners per episode, you're in the top 10% of podcasters worldwide.
if you go, God, there's a website, I think it's called Pod Ranker or something like that, and you can actually look and
What?
see, like across the Bifrost, Danger Room are all in the top 1% of all podcasts, and I think right now,
Amazing.
and like Rogue Agents is like top
Nerd
10%,
fest.
and
It's fine.
What is the
I'll
site?
settle for it. I've always been a
I need to
Levi's
look.
fan.
I'll send you the link for it. I used to look it up a lot.
Podranker?
God, now I need to look it up. Give me a second. I need to find a conversation I had with Jacob because he's the one that told me about it. And after this, we'll go ahead and get started with the bonus episode. That's Zencaster.
So we're just live on Twitch right now. Is that?
Yeah, we're just live on Twitch right now. It don't
This will be
matter.
part of the YouTube episode.
Yes, this will all be part of the
right.
YouTube episode. Oh, listen notes.
We're
That's
not
what it's
gonna-
called.
We're gonna have to cut off the YouTube episode from.
No, because okay, so this first bonus episode will be like
Patron
teaser.
bonus concert.
This will be the
Just teaser,
teaser.
right,
To be
for
like,
sure.
hey, this is like what you're gonna get with a bonus episode for Patreon. It's called
This is what
Listen
you get from
Notes. This is. Let me see. Let me pull this up right here. So Listen Notes will actually like tell you like literally like I can look up. I have it pulled up on Twitch right now probably. Let me look up Omnus
So
Protocol.
just send me a link. Yeah.
So Omnus Protocol pulls up, and you are a listener score of 30. Your global rank is the top 5% of all podcasts.
Well played, sir. Well played. Top 5%.
And we look up. Let's just
You guys see
see
what kind of cream of the crop content you're getting right here.
the Danger
this.
Room.
I'm a top 5%er for you.
Top 5%er.
Danger Room is the top 5%. We look up across the Bifrost.
This is what I'm talking about. This is across all podcasts, right? It's not like
So this is global.
Protocol
This is
or Shatterpoint.
global
This is just
rank
like
across
podcast.
all podcasts.
Part of
Like
this is just
Okay.
how many fucking podcasts exist.
Yeah.
'Cause there's-
ATB.
yeah. Oh no, the pie chart is like
Yeah.
very,
Let's
very,
see.
very, like very
Rogue
yes,
support. I'm
absolutely.
curious if we're even on here yet because you have to. Oh, we are on here. Rogue
that.
support. We don't have a rank yet because we only have 5 episodes. So there's that.
Help us
Rogue
get there.
agents. 10%.
Top 50%. Oh, okay.
Wow. But it's called Listen Notes, and you can look up like your global like ranking for podcasts. It's actually kind of interesting. So there is that. And yeah, I'm really hot tonight. I didn't realize that I was talking
niche
this
of a
hot.
niche of a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. Sorry about that.
So that's super interesting when you look at a medium fish in a puddle. I like that. I do think it's super interesting though to look at and see like if you are like the globally ranked because we do put in time. Like we're sitting here talking for 2 hours about nerd shit while my wife's in the other room saying that I ignore her. Not really, but she doesn't really say that. She understands that I
She's
enjoy
an
talking
admin.
about this. I mean, she's an admin.
admin.
Yeah, she's a moderator. She understands the life. But it's straight up like in all reality, it's like I'm married, Sam's married, Omnus has a relationship. It's like we're all taking time out of our personal lives because we enjoy talking about our hobby. And
I was gonna do it anyway.
yeah,
She knew it.
probably.
I knew it.
Oh my god. But I guess so the wife's niece is like staying with us right now. She's just visiting, and I guess she apparently said that we're talking about nerd shit and not spending time with them.
It's true though.
It's true. She said, "When is Dill Pickle gonna play with us Star Wars?" So I guess her niece wants to play Shatterpoint with us. So my
What
plan.
are you doing? You've already beaten up like 2 kids this weekend. Like your
gonna
missed
be a third.
opportunity for a third.
So my plan is I'm gonna have the wife play one squad and then have her niece play another squad and do 2 against 1, and see how that works. I think it'll be fun.
I think you have an advantage there.
I think I
they're
have an
gonna to,
advantage.
they're gonna have to they're each gonna have things they want to do, and one of them
All
probably
right,
doesn't
boys.
even know how to play.
I think we should do this bonus episode. Because
Okay.
we have already been recording for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Fair enough. All right, let's do this. We're gonna get into the bonus episode here, people. I forgot what the bonus episode topic was gonna be, but we're gonna figure it out. Also, Sam, here's your
Are we off
opportunity.
Twitch now?
Yeah, we're still on Twitch. We're gonna stay on Twitch.
Yeah, we should.
because.
Wait.
But no, it's fine. It's fine to stay on Twitch.
No,
This isn't-
like.
No, we gotta give people an experience of what the bonus
Teaser?
episodes
This
will be
is the
like.
teaser episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
fine.
what's happening? What? This is my big opportunity.
No,
for what?
your big opportunity, Sam, is a separate intro music just for the bonus episode.
Oh. I think we just played that super awesome song from Andor that has been like open source, but
What is it called?
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to it.
Okay, look it up. But on this, I'm just gonna like my thought was just give people a preview of what the bonus episodes are gonna be like, so that way they have an idea of if it's worth it. Because some people are like that. They're like, I don't really want the bonus episodes unless I know what they're gonna be like. So figured this would be a good preview.
Okay.
You want the music from Andor?
No,
I don't
it's
think we
not
should
the
use
music
official
man.
Star Wars music. It's
Yeah, I
too
don't
much
think so either.
I like to be different than other shows.
Yeah, we play our own music, Sam.
Well,
You-
okay.
you
So before
don't-
we start actually recording
Not doing
the bonus
anything.
episode, what
My
are
goodness.
we talking about for this one?
That's an important. That's something we should cover.
I thought we were talking about something that I had brought up, and you're like, save it for the bonus episode, and I was like, okay, and then we all forgot about what it was. Honestly, how about this?
I hit play on that link.
Honestly, how about this? Let's break down the squad of Grand Inquisitor, Django, and Fifth Brother.
No.
Fair. You don't like talking about stuff you
I'm
haven't played.
barely looking at these models. They're not like, you gotta understand. Like, you want me to contribute to a conversation. Like, I'm not like, I barely know what these things even do. Like, I will play them.
Fair.
They're gonna be out in like a week.
You're not
Like,
wrong.
We're gonna talk Grand
Yeah,
Inquisitor.
we'll,
stuff.
we'll wait.
It's
We'll
just-
wait for that. What about
Suck dual pack.
what? Dual pack? We
Dual
talked about that
pack.
last week, though.
I didn't.
You missed out.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can move on.
What about we could talk about why?
I feel like we totally had a topic picked out. Like,
I think
2
we
days
did.
ago.
I think we did.
But good God, our cast chat is
Busy.
a
lot of it
crazy.
comes from like the picture, the getting the logo set, and the whole fucking banner. Jesus Christ, it's all pictures.
Clearly, we need to like add one more
Channel.
channel.
There's
or-
there's a channel for topic
Clearly.
ideas.
Clearly.
Right, but we've done a good job leaving that channel not busy.
Okay.
But we had a lot of like channel discussion, and that's like filtered in our general cast chat about everything.
Okay. I'll
Because we
put
didn't want to put
there.
that.
bonus topics. How about that?
Oh no, we got like a Russian troll bot in here.
What?
Vanabug 13.
Russian
Hey, Dill Pickle, you're so nerdy. LOL.
That's
I
a
thought we had
Russian
mod
troll
for
bot.
this stuff. This
No,
is
we don't.
absolutely a Russian
You know
troll
what?
bot.
I gotta. Let me see. Mod.
Okay, well, okay, let's pause for a second. You know, we're chatting with our Twitchies. What kind of stuff do we want to do?
This is not
for
there
the-
yet. Coffee time. Jeez. Golly. It's harsh.
Is coffee trolling us already?
Of course.
No, it's actually $5 straight. It's not $4.99. It's $5 straight. Get it right.
Yeah. Stop
Scrub.
trying to underpay us, coffee. But so we can have this discussion kind of publicly. Like, what kind of stuff do we want to have? Like, is the bonus another level of strategy
Yeah.
stuff? Is it
If
general fun conversation? Do we want to do like some hot take action?
Oh.
Like,
you know what we need though, and we discussed this off the air, and this was all the beer rating labels will now be in the bonus content.
no, that is not what we said.
I remember
said
that.
Reading
I
will
said that.
happen when it happens.
I am
It
the
happens
dictator.
when it happens.
It
Yeah.
happens when it
We
happens.
we decided that it was going to interrupt segments.
you're the
like,
Lord
we will do
Maul.
it between segments.
I was-
Mandalorians.
I was
Let's
really
hot take.
hoping.
Like,
I was really hoping you would like interrupt me because you were like looking at it, and then you were like, like it wasn't good enough. Like,
Dude, let's hot take in this episode. Let's
Okay.
have each of us drop some hot takes, have some fun for 30 minutes, get spicy with it.
okay, let's get spicy with it.
I told you were funny. Believe it. Vanabug 13.
That's her niece.
Hey, Dill Pickle.
Hey, Dill Pickle.
God, that's
Nobody
the best.
calls.
Is this someone?
Nobody. That's actually like my that's the wife's niece.
That's awesome.
So guys,
Vanabug, you are literally
I can tell
my
no
favorite
one's listening
fan
to this
now.
song
You
yet.
just who's the Dill Pickle? Can I be the Dill Pickle?
No, I'm
I
Dill
wanna be
Pickle.
Dill
I'm Dill
this
Pickle.
song is
You're
like
the Dill-
clubbing.
oh,
in
My name is
Star Wars.
Dylan.
It's not. just like
So Dill Pickle.
a Star Wars song.
Okay, I guess that's
It's clubbing
fair.
in
You can
Star
be the-
Wars.
You how can you be
Dill Pickle.
you can't be Charles Pickle.
I didn't realize it was part of your name. You are Dyzard to me. I forget that your name.
I
is
ain't gonna
Dyzard.
lie. So like at the event, like there was this dude who kept going Dyzard, and I was like, oh, it's me. Like I got
You're not
like
used to responding to Dyzard?
no, not really.
Oh man, who is he? I've been where you are, sir. And you're like, hey, Dyzard, right? You're Dyzard, right?
No. No, you have been there, but no, like he kept calling me Dyzard, and like because I ended up being the rules guy for the tournament. And they were like, hey Dyzard, like anytime anybody had a rules question, it was Dyzard, and it caught me off guard the first time, and then the rest of the event, I was like, huh? And then I started like hearing just randomly because my mind's crazy of this Dyzard. Like I thought I was like, oh, I'm important.
Okay, so let's do the bonus episodes.
Alright.
How do you want to introduce it? Like, are we doing your same intro or
No, it'll be different. We're gonna do special. We're gonna do special. We're gonna do it on the fly.
I'll make it
So-
special.
alright.
Because at this point, I'm at least 3 beers in. You're 2.5. Sam is
Thanks a
2
plus.
vodkas
Oh, 3 plus.
and a
I
beer.
I had a beer
Oh, 3
before
plus.
this, so
All
I'm
right.
at more like
3
3
plus.
points.
So I feel
Takes are
like
hot now.
we just like go by the fly.
Can we even talk about this with Vanna listening?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Finger Yard for your team name?
Finger yard?
Finger Yard.
I don't understand that one. Finger guns. His fingers are a yard. Oh.
All right, Dyzard, introduce however
It
you
is.
want to introduce
All right.
this episode.
We're gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna hit the record button and we're gonna get this
Yeah.
going, and we're going live. We're live on Twitch already, but
Let's
Welcome.
get ready to rumble.
man, you ruined it. I was totally gonna say welcome to Rogue Support bonus episodes. My name is Charles Omnus Protocols, and anyways,
God bless editing.
I'm not editing any of this, but anyways.
Oh Christ.
Welcome to the first bonus episode of the Rogue Support. I guess it's the second bonus episode because we kind of did one without Sam last
No,
week.
the first one was not a bonus episode. I know you
First
called
one's
it a
not me.
bonus episode.
It
This
was
is
a bonus episode.
That was a, episode 4.5, 3.5, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was something.
An monosode.
For an monosode, I like that one. If he was here. Anyways, monosode. So these are going to be our bonus episodes that we're going to release to the patrons. This one's going to be a little bit of a teaser to kind of give everybody a taste of what what it's like to get the secret episodes. These will be released only to the patrons after this point. We might do one every now and then just to be like, hey, don't forget these are a thing. But for now, this will be the only one that everybody gets. That being said, as always, we're in your corner of the cantina. So we're going to kind of phrase this as like, this will be like the hottest of takes in Shatterpoint. And we're going to figure out what exactly we want to do with this. And if you guys have any ideas of what you want from these bonus episodes, if you become a patron, please let us know in the
Jabba's Palace.
Jabba's Palace chat. Let us know what you want us to talk about during these episodes. If you want hot takes, if you want deeper tactics and ideas going on, or if you just want more Maul talk, because everybody loves talking about Maul. That being said, let's go ahead and get on with these hottest of takes. And you know what? I think Sam has the hottest takes right now. What is your hottest of takes?
Obi-Wan's the best character in the game.
Wow. Okay. No.
Best primary or best character?
I mean, best primary for sure.
Is that the
I'll
take,
stand
or-
I'll stand on that hill. But I mean, like, you are building an entire team around him. So to some extent, like, I feel like maybe he has to be the best character in the game. If that's like,
Are you
what you're
building it
gonna do.
around him, or are you adding him into something that's already good?
Wait. Can we just get like, I want to locked in. Like,
Okay,
is
let's get
this
the hot
best
take.
primary or is this best character?
as of June 25th, 2023, Obi-Wan is the best character in the game.
Fuck no. Bo-Katan whoops Obi's ass. There's no, not best character. Not even. Okay, so it's spicy as fuck. He
we
ordered
go.
10 stars up in this Chinese restaurant.
I'm building
You
my whole
wanted the
roster around-
General So's extra chef.
You're gonna build a
Extra
whole
chef?
roster around somebody.
Extra chef. I
They're
can't.
going to-
I have a speech impediment with CHs and SHs. I'm sorry.
Key off of keywords that you're going to build in. And then he's going to make absolutely every single character on your team better.
Is he
In
though?
addition-
Okay, no, I actually 100% disagree with this because like Amon challenged me to this and he said throw Obi into your Maul squad, strike team rather, and it was trash. Like it was absolute fucking trash. And Obi, you want to know what Obi did the entire game?
That's good design. Not a
You
bad-
want to know what Obi did the entire game?
Probably nothing.
He moved 3 times. One of those was a jump, and he held my back points. That's literally all he did the
There's
entire
Obi-Wan in
game.
that list. Obi-Wan's there to make you.
So okay,
feel
so
better.
so your hot take is he is the best character in the game, but he doesn't belong on that list. How is he the best character if he doesn't belong on the list? Bo-Katan can
different.
be in every single list and still contribute.
Not in an Obi-Wan list. Like
Why
of course
not?
she can, 'cause she still has
Why
good
not?
stuff. So it's Obi-Wan. I mean,
She
it's
still
not like-
she still contributes for like she still contributes. She still gets steadfast and protection for herself. She still sits on points. She still has early access to show. She still has good damage. She still has
He's got
good
a whole
melee.
nother
She
wound
still
level than she does.
what's that?
He's got a whole nother wound level than she does.
'Cause he's the primary,
Sure, but he's got a whole nother wound level than she does.
but
So
he's
we're talking about like just attributes.
no.
My
I
point is that you
I-
build around Obi-Wan,
okay.
he's going to enable your entire list.
So your hot
you
take
build
is
around Bo-Katan, she enables your entire list.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
I
never-
think your hot take that Obi-Wan is the best character in the game is wrong. I think he is the best primary in the game. I will not dispute that.
Sure.
But best character, I'm actually with Omnus on this one and say the best character in the game currently is Bo-Katan.
All right, Dyzard. Well, why don't you drop? What's your? Can you equal Sam's level of spiciness?
I don't know if I can. That was real fucking spicy.
you-
Spicy.
Let's level it up. Well, he went first. I feel like you and I have to
Alright.
take this up a notch. Can we out spicy Sam?
All right, here you go. Realness right here. The best secondary in the game is Gar Saxon. As
What?
of June 25th, 2023.
Okay, you out spicied Sam. That's fucking ridiculous.
All right, let's go ahead and look at his card, if you will. Let's go ahead and
we know what
no,
his
no.
card does.
No, let's like honestly, let's like in all
Pause the
reality.
show, read the card. Come back to
Star Wars
it. Don't
DB,
do it.
Star Wars Databank, right?
Don't
Is
read the
Gar
card. Please
Saxon
don't read
even in the
card. Please
top
don't read the card.
50% of secondaries?
Oh my
Please
god,
don't read the
no!
card.
Star Wars.
He's not better than Bo. He's not
Center
better
point.
than
Please
Rex.
don't read the card.
He's not better than Ahsoka. Like, he's not
All
better
right.
than Kalani.
Let's
Like,
look at so
Dyzard,
Gar.
you're out of your mind.
If you were playing a list with Gar in it, right? You told me to beat Sam. This is how I beat Sam.
Okay, you out spicy Sam. Fuck, I've got to out spicy this shit.
All right. No, in all reality though, we look at Gar. You're not playing Gar without Mandos, which is just like a given. That's silly. That's silly talk.
Says the person who talked about Obi without clones.
That's because of the take that was taken.
This is also
Um,
a take
you
that's
know how to
being
build a
taken
roster.
by a taker.
All right.
You know how to build
All right,
squads.
fine. All right, let's go ahead and do a real hot take. A real hot take would be
Just a second, Vanna, can we be the Rogue Pickles?
the
Can
Rogue
that be-
Pickles. Is
Can
that
that be our name?
we could be the Rogue Pickles? For the bonus episodes, we'll be the Rogue Pickles. We are the Rogue Pickles, and we are here to give you hot takes. We are your jalapeno pickles. All right, so
The jalapeno pickles?
the jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Man, we had
pickles.
tacos. We had tacos tonight, and Vanabug here was like, "Man, these are the best tacos. I could literally eat this every single day." That is a hot take right there. Like, okay, so riddle me this.
That's not good
I'm-
tacos to me.
I'm gonna interrupt this hot take discussion for another hot take. What is one food that you could literally eat every single day for the rest of your life? It has to be a meal.
Pizza.
Sam,
I grew up on Teenage Mutant
Tacos.
Ninja Turtles.
tacos. For me, it's
Legit
tacos.
tacos, yeah.
Like legit tacos. Like you could literally eat tacos every day and never get bored of it.
The tacos and pizza are it's the same, right? Like it's like you can do so many different things with it. That like you can create it so that it never gets old.
No, like it's just, you could change it. You could be like, one day you have lettuce, one day you
Carb,
don't.
meat, cheese, vegetables.
yeah.
That's both. That's both. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Salt, fat, sugar.
It works. HSP. Rusty Brat says HSP. I don't know what you stand for. What HSP stands for. Hot sauce potato. No, tacos are better. Vanabug, let's get your hot take.
Howling spherical potatoes.
You could
put more on tacos. Okay, Vanabug, let's get your hot take.
I might have to disagree with you on like a just principle level. Like a pizza is literally bigger than a taco, so you can put more on a pizza.
Okay, but
you can. On
What if we had a taco size or a pizza sized taco?
Okay, but what if riddle me this, Batman, right? Riddle me this. What if you made a pizza taco?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that both Pizza Hut and Taco Bell have tried something along those lines,
Probably.
and they both succeeded.
All right, my real hot take. Sam's real hot take was Obi-Wan is the best character in the game. My real hot take is
I've got one if you don't.
no. It's I think for me it's you should always opt. Not always. I guess that's not right though. I was gonna say you should always opt for shoves over killing somebody, but it's like that's not always. But I feel like more often than not it is. I don't know. I feel like if I was to say one hot take, it would be
We are woefully unprepared for this.
we are
episode.
very much unprepared. I literally
We were very prepared. This was probably the normal episode we were most prepared for, and
Yeah.
this is the bonus episode we are the least prepared for.
I mean, to be fair, like this is what the people want. They want.
Is it?
To be fair, they want
Anna, is this
drunk.
what the people want?
They want drunk Sam, drunk Omnus, and drunk Dyzard because they want us
It's
to ramble.
wild on this.
Wild Omnus. Wild Omnus. Ah! All right. Nah. If I was to say my hottest of the hottest of takes, force expenditure is the most important aspect of this game.
I'm gonna have to disagree because I still feel like it's positioning. I feel like positioning is.
But
still more
force
important.
fixes that.
No,
And
it's not.
in 9 out of
No.
10 cases, it does.
no.
If you're
it does
well
not.
positioned, you usually have to spend less force.
Yeah, if you're well positioned, you don't need force. But force fixes your mistakes.
Thanks for agreeing with my point.
No, force is
take
more
across the
force is more important than positioning because force is your get out of jail free card. Force is how do I win more? Force is how do I put myself back into the game? Force is how do I not make myself take this activation that means absolutely nothing for the game? So force expenditure is probably the most important thing in the game because of how much it actually impacts.
It might be a very important skill point in the game. I don't know if
It
it's
is
the
a-
most important.
I agree
Right.
with Sam. It is very, very important, and it is probably the point that the most games are being lost off of. But I don't think it's the most important.
Once you have no force, you are the deck.
You are the
That's
deck. You are the deck,
You are the
and
deck.
you are literally cards at their worst value.
Yep.
I mean, I
Once
agree
you-
with Vanna here.
Once you don't have two
Dilly,
force,
silly, dill, pickle. This be crazy, yo.
once
Alright.
you're down to 2 force, you have decisions to make between using a 2 force ability and the ability to change the deck. At 3 force, you have abilities that cost 1, abilities that cost 2, and restructuring the deck. At 4 force,
You have the
now
world is your
you still
oyster.
have, yeah, right. Like at 4 force, you're like, I can do whatever I want. But like that's where the mistake is made. I feel like the mistakes start to be made at like the 4 force level. So like your first.
So
2
if you're playing
or
a
3?
6, what you're saying though is if you're playing a 6-4 squad, which is arguably average right now,
Sure.
you're at a disadvantage immediately.
No, you're not at a disadvantage.
How?
think that's
How?
what you're
From
saying.
no. From what
That's
Sam?
what you are saying.
No,
'Cause
from what
you are
Saying you go down
saying
to 4
that how you
force.
spend
Your
your force is the
disadvantage is
most
that you
important
don't
thing.
have-
But I don't care because I play them all, so I don't care. I technically
usually have
have.
6 force.
I
plus
technically
Sure.
have 9 force.
You just want to turn everything into a mall conversation. All right. Let's move on to
Dyzard's
my hot take.
is that Maul dominates the game.
Maul dominates the game. All right, what do you got on this?
Okay. So I always want like everybody like nobody gets offended when you say what's the best thing, right? Like nobody is like actively offended.
Are you
by
okay?
saying
Are you
because he
okay?
said that Obi is the
Are
best.
are you? Have you played MCP?
Yeah.
Now,
Let's talk about
I've
that.
got it because I'm now agreeing that Maul is not the worst. I feel like I have to pick a new worst.
Cody.
Cody is not a primary.
Okay.
Mm.
Anakin.
Cody is the
Primary.
worst
Anakin.
character.
Anakin is the worst primary.
Worst primary.
I am gonna say Dooku.
No. Okay, no, that is by far
Hard
the
disagree.
hottest. The hottest. No.
Worst
win.
primary.
No. You
win,
win. You win. You win for the hottest. Like, that is
I
almost.
I actually did not think that was gonna be that hot.
No,
Like, all right.
honestly, like, that is, like,
It is.
worse than my Gar Saxon is the best character in the game. That is worse than that.
It's
I
hotter
actually
than
don't even
Obi's
agree
the
with that.
best.
I feel like your take was worse.
No, because okay, let me give you this. We just talked about how important force expenditure is. Dooku just gains force by your opponent playing the game. Dooku just does stuff passively. Dooku's passive stuff is the best part of Dooku's card, which means
I
you do
agree with
nothing.
that.
Which
Obi-Wan,
means
too.
you bringing Dooku means your list is inherently better just by him existing.
But to bring Dooku, you kind of have to play a subpar squad. He
Do
only
you?
synergizes
Do you?
with Separatists.
Do you?
Disagree with
You got
can only-
Django. You get Django, who is by
Django
far
got ones.
top. I'd argue Django is top 2 secondaries. Like, he's probably right behind Bo-Katan.
You just
Um,
said Gar was better than Bo,
that
and
was-
now you're saying that
that
Django
was-
is also better than Bo.
That was me trying to beat Sam. That wasn't a serious hot take. I don't think Gar
wasn't
beats
that
Bo.
hard.
Yeah, it was.
We are going to hold you to this forever.
I know,
You
right?
said it on the
Uh,
podcast.
all
that
right.
Gar
As
is
of-
the best secondary.
This
As
episode
of
is now
June
locked behind
23rd.
patrons because
23rd.
we'll only get like 5, and that means only 5 people will know that hot take.
I'm trying to
this was
actively
the
defend
teaser.
an
I
opinion.
thought this was the
Someone has to
teaser.
be the worst. I was starting to tinker around with the idea that Anakin might be.
No, it's Anakin. It's
Which is
100% Anakin.
But I don't think it is.
No, it's
Anakin
one.
Is legitimately
It is
good at
no,
what he does.
no, no,
and
no,
he has
no,
jump.
no, no,
He has
no,
jump.
no. He has jump. I don't give a fuck about jump.
Okay, Grogu. No. No.
No, Anakin is by far the worst because, one, he is the diciest character in the game. He is by far 100% reliant on dice. Oh, and by 3, he is 100% reliant on dice. He is the epitome of a dice character for Shatterpoint. If he does not roll well, if he does not, he needs force,
Hey,
he needs dice, he
I've got
needs
news
proper
for you.
positioning.
Anakin's better than Vader.
I know I 100% disagree with that. Vader is
Vader has a blanket bonus to your whole team across
your
the entire
whole
map.
team. You know why people hate Thanos? Is because he typically has the power to play for Death's Decree. Vader
That
says
is not why everyone like
That's-
this.
No,
That's a
people, no,
horrible
you're not wrong.
argument.
You're not
One,
wrong.
We should not
You're
be
not wrong.
talking about MCP in this.
you're right.
But that is a
You're right.
horrible argument.
No, his dice are more reliable than anyone. You're way wrong, D's. No, is Anakin better than Vader? No, Anakin is not better than Vader. Anakin scores, but on
When's the last
dice.
time when is the last time you even played a game with Anakin?
With Anakin, never, because he's fucking trash.
2 days ago.
Okay,
He's
so
fine.
I'm glad that your opinion means nothing. Great. Like, Sam, you've played Anakin. Do you legitimately think that Anakin is the worst character?
No, I don't. But I don't really know who is the best character.
Obi-Wan.
I mean, you said who's the best,
Because-
but you don't know who the worst
I
is.
did, but remember, I'm playing from a very limited slice of the game
Yeah.
because I am playing basically Anakin and Obi-Wan right now. And I'm playing Anakin and Vader, and I disagree with the take that Vader is worse than Anakin, for what that's worth.
No, I think Vader is 100%
Fair.
the best primary in the game after Obi-Wan. After Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's number
after
1.
Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, Obi-Wan's number 1, and then I would say
No, there's
Vader's number 2.
primaries
You know why?
better
Because
than Maul
Vader
now?
is-
we
is
have that on
Galactic
record.
Republic.
There are 2 primaries better than Maul. Dyzard?
And with that, we have been the Rogue Support. This is your bonus episode.
Teaser.
Okay, so I've said what I think is the worst primary. I have
Yeah.
to pick something. And honestly, all joking aside, I'm actually impressed with how balanced overall the first 6
great.
primaries.
I agree.
Like,
I 100% agree with that.
Props to AMG. Like, it's hard. Like, at different points, I've thought, is Maul the worst? Is Anakin the worst? Is Dooku the worst? And like, I'm hot taking a little bit, but I have to pick somebody. And right now, my feelings are Dooku. And
Right now,
I
it's Obi and
genuinely,
Dooku,
I genuinely feel that, but
cream of the crop.
that could totally change.
Okay,
Secondary?
so wait.
Secondary,
I want
I
to
feel
wait.
like it's
No,
easy.
no. I wanna come on that real quick. In all honesty, no jokes aside, I actually agree with Omnus because Dooku's biggest issue is he's all passive. His active turn is probably like one of the worst active turns of any of the primaries. So that means that all the other primaries have real impact on game state during their active turn, where Dooku does not. Dooku can maybe wound somebody and move and get onto a point, but that's all he's doing. Like somebody pointed out, the Maul has a potential, if it's struggle 2 or struggle 3, to have a 3 VP swing, which is huge. A 3 VP swing and a wound, which is huge. Anakin has a wound and a 4 VP swing, 3 VP swing, which is huge. Pretty much anybody other than Dooku has a 2 to 3 VP swing and a wound. Dooku is very much a 1 VP swing and maybe a wound, which arguably for his active turn is not that great. But his passive abilities are so good, it makes that almost benign.
He does have like his passive like starter turn ability is fucking great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's got pushes.
But-
He's got those pushes on his tree.
Yeah.
Also very good.
But
It's hard. Picking the worst primary is tough.
Coffee Time says Ahsoka's the worst for me, and she's my favorite character in all the universe. I actually disagree because Ahsoka's freaking identity can just keep you from losing a point. Because if she is positioned properly at the right time, at the right place, she can literally just stop your opponent from scoring a point.
They can play around it.
They can.
She can have a massive VP swing on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, I think I would honestly rate I would honestly, out of what we got, Dooku, Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi. There's 6.
Okay.
So I would rate Ahsoka honestly 3 out of 6.
So I think we all agree, right, that probably Ulysses, I don't want to get into the unreleased stuff yet. I don't want to try to like speak on something I haven't played. I think we all agree that Cody's probably the worst secondary.
Yeah.
Like, is that kind of a general consensus?
I think that's 100% not a hot take.
Okay.
Sorry,
Who
Cody.
do we think is
I
the
think he
worst
plays
support
differently.
unit
We're not there
released so far? Because I'm having a hard time with
Magna
this
Guard.
one. No way are Magna
Okay.
Guard the worst.
Okay, so let me do this. Have you tried playing Magna Guard outside of Separatists?
Why the fuck would you do that?
100% my answer right there. Right there.
Why
right,
the fuck
right?
would you play
No,
Rex
right?
and clones outside of Galactic? That's a
Why?
dumb
But
argument.
why?
You should play 501
No.
first anywhere else.
But that's the thing is supports are 100% reliant on who's your secondary.
But okay,
But-
for the most part in this game, it's like how good does the squad create? And that's part of my problem with Dooku is that I don't think his squad compares to like Obi's squad or Anakin's squad.
Okay,
or,
real quick,
almost
real
every
quick,
other squad
real quick.
combination.
Coffee says you guys don't value expertise trees enough either. Ahsoka has the worst offensive expertise tree. I'd actually disagree. 2 strikes off of 1 expertise. Yes, there's strikes and they're easy to block, but she is the only person that gets 2 strikes like that fast. And if your opponent has a bad roll, that's really
She's
it
not
can.
the only person that gets 2.
Is she? Whatever. You need crits from your primary. I agree. I do think crits are strong, but like I don't know. Like Ahsoka still lays the hurt. She really does. I don't care. Like if he rolls 1 to 2 expertise, she still lays the hurt.
It'll be interesting. So, like, while we're talking about primaries, I do want to talk about supports for a second. But, like, originally I thought Darth Maul was going to be the first one to be left behind. But I think he's the easiest one that... Jesus, Dyzard.
That's loud.
You guys are... And then he leaves during my question. Like, so now I'm starting to feel like Darth Maul is a little bit of, like, do you need to relieve some force pressure on your team? and Darth Maul is kind of the best primary for doing that. Like, do you need to relieve some of that stress? Like, one way or another, you could have him run, like, you could have him run clones if you wanted. If you're just like, Obi needs more force, like, they need more force. Like, I could see that justifying Maul being a long-term solution to different problems. Part of why I was putting Dooku as my worst is I'm not sure long-term he solves a problem better than anyone else. And so that's where I was landing. But Sam, do you have a pick for worst support? Like, I know we love this game, right? We're just trying to hot take a little bit. Like,
yeah. No, it's a 501st.
but it's-
I've said it like 3 times since we started.
oh man,
It's
you
just
think
been
the
in the background.
501st are the worst? God, they
I
feel
think
so
that the
good
501st
for
are
3.
worth 3 points.
I think
feel
I
like
agree.
The B1s, I've had models like one rounded by B1s, like good models. Like,
Yes.
Sure, there's been variants involved, but like Obi-Wan goes down to B1s.
Yeah.
Like it happens. These things happen. 501st literally taking down no one. That combat tree, that expertise tree.
It's all about
they are
conditions, though.
taking
No, they're
one
no,
down.
no, 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 no,
Sure.
no,
Sure.
no.
I said it
501st,
early. I can make a
501st,
case for the 501st.
501st are 100%
great.
scenario players,
They are. They're warm bodies.
which is 100% the aspect of this game. I don't care about damage. I care about shoves and conditions, which the 501st supply.
But they don't actually put out enough output to get to those points on their tree. Honestly, the 501st, the
Under
benefit
Vader.
of the 501st is that they have sure. But that's a whole
Thank you,
different
Coffee.
discussion.
God bless you in chat.
The Wizards never played the 501st. Man, I haven't played. Have you seen these fucking bastards, man? Have you seen these sick ass dudes?
I like how he's
Okay.
like, the worst unit is the ones I'm playing,
501st.
and I'm going to be like talking about how great they are in every episode after this.
You can get work done with the 501st, but they are a 3-point unit, and their best benefits, in my opinion, in my
cost 3.
experience,
They cost
is
3 and
literally-
don't rely on
they
force.
cost 3, so you can fit them.
They don't rely on force to
then,
do what they want.
No, they have clone keywords, so they're getting the hunkers and they're getting the coordinated fire stuff, and like you just want them to stand on a point that no one wants to go to, and then they'll get work done. I promise you, the 501st will get work
Okay,
done. but they're
okay,
just
real
not.
talk. Who is the worst support? Like, honestly, that's super hard because I think supports outweigh everything else in this game currently.
I mean, they're in a big way. The supports. I mean, I almost kind of want to say for the average team, I feel like the secondaries kind of do a crap ton. Like Rex is fantastic.
Yeah.
Bo is fantastic. Gar is really good. Django is really good. Kalani like makes separatists
Padawan, Ahsoka,
function.
and Barabas,
Like-
both of them.
Like
they do
the
good stuff.
secondaries kind of feel like the most important spot, but like the fact that supports have multiple characters in them is huge. Like there's a part of me, like I didn't know when I answered this question, I'm like, is it B1s? Is that just me not liking droids? But part of me wants to say the 212th. Like, is it just that
212th?
is it just that Republic has the weaker supports because they have such strong overall primaries and secondaries?
That could be an element, because like it's one of the things that I wanted to say, like as we're getting into like, you know, not just hot taking on this, is that a lot of these units, the thing about them is that they're of one quality by themselves, they are of another quality with some synergy, and they are of another quality still when everything that is on their card ties into other things going on in your general approach.
But I think that just comes down to the statement of secondaries are what make your team.
Well, I think fundamentally in the long run, I think to a certain extent, hot taking on individual characters is practically pointless.
It is.
Because I think the way that we're going to rate this game in the long run is how good of a squad can you create. And it's not necessarily
What is in your hand?
what it's just like a random sculpting tool.
I have one of those.
I'm very
Yeah, it's a
fiddly.
sculpting tool.
This is like, I saw it and I was like, what is that in your
On the
hand?
other side of the room.
Oh, sorry, I
It's
didn't
a
mean to.
Shiv Dyzard when hot takes are too fucking spicy.
I need soundboards for this.
Yeah. But I think in the long run, we're going to rate squads, right? And And that's the thing that's really interesting about this, because it's not like MCP. It's not just how good is this model for its threat value, right? In this, it doesn't matter how good supports are, or how good a secondary is, or how good a primary is. It's how good is the whole package together. And you're gonna have like, do you make a team that's just like the two best packages, or do you need things that synergize well together?
I think Premiere makes you look at things a little bit differently.
I think
definitely
so.
makes you look at things from a squad perspective. Where
I
want the
okay,
squad.
hot take. Premiere is going to be the way to play this game.
That's not hot.
Okay, fine.
That's not even lukewarm.
Common take.
It's a different approach. I'm not there yet for what that's worth. I think
To be fair, once I saw Vader, I was like, I just want to play Vader and Maul every single game.
There you go. That's not
but
Premiere.
It's not. But I need to make
I
concessions.
think Coffee Time is saying what Sam is saying in his head. Like, I will like Premiere when I have 4 Galactic Republic squads.
Like, I'm comfortable. Like right now, going into like the TTS preseason thing that we're doing, right? Where it's like, okay.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that actually.
Okay, Dyzard, you have interrupted people way too many times. Let Sam finish.
I am the interrupter, to be fair. So when he interrupts me,
no, you're
it's just
fine.
like par for the course. Like, I'm just
Omnus is right. I talk a lot. Go ahead.
So for me, honestly, I was like, I got Obi, I've got Lumi, I've got a choice between Anakin and Vader, and then I have to decide between bringing Ahsoka primary, Ahsoka Padawan as a secondary. But if I bring her as a secondary, then I literally have to start to get out of the models that I actually want to bring to this game, which is my whole approach, which is I just want to play the things that I want to play.
Yeah.
And so now I have to look at Maul. Now I have to look at Ventress. Now I have to look at Dooku. I have to look at someone else instead of the things that I actually want to play. And so for me, looking at Premiere right now is like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so I wound up bringing Ahsoka because I've played more than a handful of games with her, so I'm comfortable putting her on the table, knowing what I'm trying to ask of her. But at the same time, I've gotten really used to playing my Padawan Ahsoka, and I really didn't want to bring a whole nother element into my entire team, where at some point I'm gonna have to play these models.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it was I don't want to bring something that I'm not comfortable with. I don't want to bring Asajj with B1s and Kalani into the mix and be like, all right, that's what I'm bringing for this group, because they have no synergy. They bring nothing to the rest of my Premier teams. Where if I stick basically fully Republic, then I can still bring Vader into that and be comfortable.
That was a very long way of agreeing with me, Sam.
I just explained where I'm at.
But I don't disagree with you though. I think Premiere is interesting in the fact that you really need to think about all your options. Yeah. And I think you need to decide where. I think we discussed this on the bonus episode or the Almonisode.
You got 2 and 2, right? So you have to come in to your Premier squad.
Yeah.
Where you're either going to knock out all 4 of your squads in the first 2 rounds of the event, and then you play whatever's best for the last 2 rounds of the event, or round or 2 of the event, or you're trying to bring in these are my guys. And then this is my guy, and I'm gonna bring in the best toolbox for the next rounds.
My question for you guys is, if you're looking at Premiere, I almost think it's probably stronger to have 1 main squad and 3 squads that support that main squad.
I think so.
Says the Darth Maul player, but
to be completely honest, if I was looking at Premiere, my main squad's Vader.
I think you want 2. Personally, I think you want 2 squads that aren't, you're I'm going to bring this squad and this squad. It's I'm going to bring this squad or this squad.
With every game.
And I'm going to bring one of the other 3 that are available.
Yeah. In this case, I agree with both of you. I think both are valid ways to approach Premiere right now, which is what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Fair. I think we're all in agreement with this one, which is odd.
You can do the thing that you want to do. Do you want to play... is your favorite thing X? Then you can play it every game, just shuffle the other thing.
Yeah.
If you want to play themed, you can play, I will play this theme one round, this theme the other round, then I can play whatever theme I want. Both function.
Which I think is like a great thing to say about this game. And I wanted to bring up the Longshank standings for the TTS preseason, and because
Are you sure you want to bring
I
this
really
up?
do actually. Just real quick. Number one, there are 35 out of 54 people bringing Obi-Wan. The next behind that is 28 people bringing Vader. The next behind
I'm in
that,
both those groups.
you're in both those groups. Behind that is Asajj with 25, which I find very interesting. I think Asajj is great, but I think he's good. Behind that is Maul and Dooku tied at 23. Behind that is Lumi at 22. And then Grievous and Grand Inquisitor at 18. And then here's where it starts to get real spicy. Anakin at 13 of 54. And then Ahsoka, 11 of 54.
I'm in the Ahsoka camp.
I'm in the Ahsoka camp.
So if I were to, I'm not in it. None of those numbers are me. I think the Anakin numbers are because people want to play Vader.
Yeah, and I said you can't
you
play
just-
Vader
you're
with
just
it
not
again. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not doing both. Like
Yeah.
it's not really feasible with the current release models. That is why the Anakin numbers are low.
I 100% agree with that.
The Ahsoka numbers being low are probably because she's just not as popular of a character, which, hot take, Ahsoka is the best character in
I don't
Star
know
Wars.
about that.
But I think there's a certain degree of like, there's some medium ground. Like, who do you want to run Mandos with? Do you want to run her with Lumi?
Yeah.
Do you want to do Asajj? Do you want to do Maul? Like, there's a lot of options, and I think she just kind of feels like one of those options, and people may shift towards, like, Asajj is like both probably good for separatists, like if you want to play all separatists, but she also fits into some of the Mando builds, so you have multiple options there. And whereas, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't take too much.
I think
too much
Ulysses brings
out of
up a
those.
good point. Is Ahsoka falls into the same camp that Anakin and Vader, and then Ahsoka and Padawan Ahsoka, where a lot of people are
Yeah.
probably wanting to take Padawan Ahsoka because she's really good secondary.
She's really good.
And she's better than Cody. And Cody
And
drags
she's better
down
than
their
Cody.
levels.
She's way better.
And with how many people are taking Obi-Wan, it wouldn't surprise me if people opted to take Padawan Ahsoka over primary
I'm gonna hot
Ahsoka.
take. I got a hot take.
Okay.
I think Galactic Republic is best with Obi Rex 212 and then Ahsoka Mandos.
I
Better than the
actually
versions with Vader or Anakin.
don't disagree.
I think that the clone stacking synergies are worth their cost. I've played it both ways, and the Mando stuff is very good. But I think that when you can bring in the extra heals and dashes that you get from Obi's leadership on the clones, I think it's worth it. And if you can do like Padawan Ahsoka, Obi Annie, Rex, 212 501st, I think you're in really good.
Do you respond to Coffee's comment about Lumi? To be fair, I am talking about released stuff. I guess I included Vader
also,
in that, so that was kind of a little misleading.
He's coming quick though, right?
But Lumi,
He's almost here.
Also,
yeah,
Coffee.
That was confused. Coffee, I don't blame you. Like, I kind of included Vader in that, and I was saying
Yeah.
it was better than Vader, so I see why that was confusing. That was more like kind of clustering Vader and Anakin in together.
Yeah.
Lumi is really, really good. I just mean, like, right now, if you're going to an event with like released models, I actually think like maybe one of the best teams is actually like Obi clones with Rex, and then Ahsoka, like being able to move Rex off of Annie, put it with Obi, and then having the Mando package with Ahsoka, who benefits from all of Obi's stuff. Like, I feel like that might be the most universally mobile team. Like, can play on any table, can like.
It's good. The pin and strain from 212th and 501st in conjunction together is very strong. That's the only thing I would throw into that mix. Like that's a very strong combo when everybody's you just have all the coordinated fire going on.
Yeah, it's good. Like, but you have some terrain problems. Like, if you're playing on all terrain that's like kind of mild, then it all works and feels good. If you're playing on a little more terrain dense table, man, options of having like some jump support units and like it just you lose a little bit of synergy, but you also kind of get like all my characters are where they want to be. Like, that's where my hot take.
No,
is
I love it. I feel like that's a
I-
little more. Oh,
I
God has spoken.
I agree with Omnus.
Thanks for all that.
Yeah,
That was
that was a
special.
lot of build up to what we thought was going to be like Darth Maul, Darth Maul, boys. Darth
No.
Maul has a double bladed lightsaber.
No,
And tattoos on his face.
To be completely
I feel like
honest, Obi Ahsoka clones Mandos might be like out of currently released as of June 25th. Obi Ahsoka Mando's clones might be the thing to beat.
It's very, 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 very good. My only thing about it is that it is a little beholden to the deck of the activation deck. You can get royally hosed by the activation deck. Is it rare? Yes. Is it possible? Absolutely.
That being said, I think Maul is 100% the most generalistic character that we have in the game to date, which means he
synergy with anybody.
arguably means he could fit anywhere and still perform.
Yeah, he's definitely not the best primary, but he might end up being like the primary that kind of holds out the longest.
Yes.
In the sense of like he might just always be like 25% of the meta just because he kind of solves a weird problem.
He fits everywhere. Like if I'm looking at a premier list without Maul, I'm looking at what are you missing? Because I think if you're playing Premier, here's 100% hot take right here. If you're playing Premier, Maul should be one of your primaries.
Ooh,
That's fair.
I like that.
The Ahsoka spot could be Maul.
That's
for me.
That's
I could see
Dyzard.
I could see
You're
Maul.
getting into this hot take thing. It
could
took
see
you a little while. You got into the pool. It was a little cold at first.
It was a little
now
cold.
you're settling in.
It was
and
more
you're
so.
like,
Let me get a hot take
"Ooh,
that
I know
beats
what's
Sam.
going on."
But no, I honestly think
Dude, your Gar hot take. Like,
If
that was like
that was trash.
That's not a hot
It was
take
trash,
because you
though.
don't believe it.
no, you're right. But no, 100%. I think if you're playing Premier, one of your squads should be Maul, and I'll agree with Sam here, or Ahsoka. If you're taking Padawan Ahsoka, then it's Maul. If you're not taking Padawan Ahsoka, you probably take Ahsoka. Because, man, her identity is so fucking good.
All right. So, listeners, I do want to preface like hot takes may not be like our only Patreon thing, but maybe we do like 1 out of 4 is like a hot take spicy episode.
Yeah.
But you just get more of us. Is
You get more
basically
of
the
us.
gist. Yeah.
And if
And
you
who
guys...
doesn't want more of silly dill pickle Dyzard? Like,
This is where you
That's-
get it.
would you stop dying on the podcast,
Yeah.
silly dill?
but to be completely
Dilly
honest,
silly?
completely honest, hot takes are fun, but to be completely honest, I would rather talk like tactics and be like honest opinions. Because when we talk about hot takes, like let's look at how this episode started. This bonus episode started. It started with me just trying to beat Sam's hot take, and that was a stupid opinion that really isn't what I thought.
I'm
My
so
opinion
glad
was
it's recorded.
Pretty close to accurate.
No, I think Sam's is fair, but Sam set the bar real fucking high, and it took me a minute to find something that could beat that. With I think my real 100% hot take opinion of this is going to be if you're playing Premier, Maul / Ahsoka. Maul or Ahsoka should be in one of your lists.
Okay. If we get to amend these, I'll say that Obi-Wan is the best primary.
And I agree with that. I actually agree with that. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think Obi-Wan is
I'm not
100%.
going to amend shit.
Dilly Still Pickle.
Amending is for
And Mr.
scrubs.
Fingeryard. However, I do think this absolutely changes next month, and I do think that Vader becomes
I
like
agree with coffee.
I disagree. I think you could take those best clones and best droid squad and be fine. I agree. And Sam and I actually
But the best
had
clone squad does include
Ahsoka. But Sam and I had a conversation offline, and I'm actually going to read this quote for quote.
God. Oh no. What did I sign myself up for?
Let's see.
I promise the listeners, bonus episodes will have more preparation in the future. This
All
is
right.
a little too rogue agents for me. We will work on this, I promise.
All right. I mean, to be fair, this is the most professional I've been on any podcast. So
I know, and I'm very proud of you overall.
All right.
I am impressed.
All right. So, Sam, I played Vader Obi in this for the third time, and I like it a lot. And I said, it really is brutal. It's hard to beat, not going to lie. Obi almost always is getting his tree under Vader. But hey, Vader isn't a control monster, so it's fine. Winky face. This was a nod at Thanos. Laugh out loud from Finger Guns. And then I said, with the games I've played with and against Vader, I think he's cool. He makes Obi actually really, really good. But at the end of the day, he isn't what is winning the game. There's too many choices to be made in this game for, at the moment, a character to dictate the win. And Sam said, I agree with all of that. So my hot take is, it more depends on you as a player and your decisions made at the moment than the characters you're bringing. So at the end of the day, play what you want.
That's like
and then
cycle.
Play what you want, and your decisions of what you are doing with those characters that you enjoy playing are what truly matter, and not the character you're playing.
So, do you think that Maul Ahsoka is actually like top tier, and that helped you to victory?
No, I think it's because I enjoy playing them, and because I made the proper decisions with the characters that I had available to me.
Coffee says, play what you want, blame the map if you lose. Amen. There we go.
My hot take is, let's not allow reading off of Discord during the shows ever again.
Fair enough.
I'm here for that.
But that was like juicy content. Like that was sweet messages between Sam and myself.
Your
Sweet
definition
nothings.
of juicy
Sweet nothings.
content is just a little different than mine. Like,
Okay, so
you want kind of a dried up
all right.
dill pickle there. I want more of a fresh, voluptuous dill pickle.
I bought you in the grocery store today and put you in the fridge at 9 o'clock in the morning. You are juicy and cold and refreshing.
I wanted a cold, refreshing dill. You were left out on the counter for a week or so. Dill.
All right, I want to talk about this real quick. Ulysses says, don't forget the order deck and dice. And I think more and more, the more games I have played, the more and more I have come to think that dice and order deck are just a compounding interest on your poor mistakes as a player.
All right, let's end the episode on that note. Boom.
All right.
Order deck, dice, compounding your mistakes.
Compounding your mistakes. And we'll continue.
Dude, that should be the name of the bonus episode.
Compounding your
mistakes. Boom! How could we have planned that? It's like this was prepared. Boom! Finger guns, dill pickles.
With that, we have been your rogue support in your corner of the cantina. And we are way too drunk to continue this cast any longer.
And I have been your wild omnus.
And Finger Guns has been your... What was it? What was
I'm
it?
fine. I'm here. I'm good.
No, what was it? Oh, man, there was somebody that said...
Yard? Mr. Finger Yard?
Mr. Finger Yards. All right.
Yard.
We hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. And if you would like to hear more episodes like this, please do the Patreon thing.
You won't. You'll
won't?
get different content from
You'll get
me.
different content. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
We'll still be us.
This is the first bonus episode we do. We do expect people to like voice what they would like for bonus content, so it's not just more of us just talking bullshit.
Turns out, if you subscribe to the Patreon, we will take your input on what you want in bonus content.
I mean, to be fair, we take everybody's input on everything because when people talk about what they wanted, we kept going with the beer labels.
That's a lie. I don't listen to everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good night, everybody. All right. This is the after dark. I wasn't expecting to go that long, but we kept talking.
Yeah, that was.
So my wife says we're still live on Twitch, by the way. My wife says that I have a tendency to just keep talking, and she gets upset because I could talk with nerds forever, but when I talk to her, I like either fall asleep or get distracted.
That's okay. I got in trouble because I was too loud.
Oh,
So I got told that I was being.
that's that vodka lime, man. You were drinking easy drinks that were just too strong.
So on a beer
started
conversation,
with
so this was supposed to be like my special beer for the evening.
That looks disgusting. Mecha Raven double IPA. Like,
sounds amazing.
that looks
okay.
no. That looks like a Final Fantasy boss. The Mecha
Yeah,
Raven.
It does.
I'll
I thought it was going to be cool. I thought, but as soon as I drank it, this almost didn't taste like an IPA. This tasted like a double alcohol pilsner, which was very strange. Like it tasted like a more traditional beer
Is that
would like just hit a little bit harder.
Where's it from?
Um,
And I wish they had Bevmos over here because I would love to go to Bevmo and find those beers.
Bevmo's got good stuff.
actually, Woodinville. It's very
Really?
local.
Really? Yeah,
Woodinville,
that's like
Washington. Yeah.
literally like 30 minutes away from you.
But this doesn't surprise me. Black Raven Brewing, I have traditionally not liked their stuff. Like
Yeah.
their main IPA is very common in the Pacific Northwest, and I consider it like bottom of the barrel. Like for your just like compared to like I will take a Legion Immortal IPA over the Black Raven basic IPA any fucking day of the week. Any day.
I need to get Sam some Legion Brewery stuff.
I've had some good stuff from them.
You
What
have?
if I get like Elysian stuff to Sam and you guys get me Sour Monkey so I can try Sour Monkey?
Honestly, DM me your address and I'll send you some Sour Monkey.
Yeah, we'll make some stuff happen.
Okay.
They're our sponsors.
Done.
So.
I want to try. I will, and I'll save it. I'll drink it on the show and be like, we can have like live response. We can do a Sour Monkey episode.
Honestly,
Sponsor.
for all of us drink Sour Monkey. I ain't gonna lie. Like, do you like sour
You
candy?
need to put the pitch together. You need to put the pitch together and
Yeah.
be like, hey, we're the top 5% of podcasts.
Not yet. We don't have a
Top
ranking
5%.
for Rogue Sport.
Not us. No, it's fine. It's all the same network. Omnus
I mean,
has
it is. Omnus
Other
has
guys
it.
has
We
it.
just claim Omnus.
Yeah,
Top
indirectly
But,
through me. Dude, I wonder what like back in the day when I was doing RFP and BMR,
I'm
like,
gonna what?
they
Man,
were 3 to 5
I gotta go to bed
times
tonight,
as many
guys, sorry.
downloads
Okay.
as OP.
Good night.
good
yeah.
night, Sam. What was RFP called? What was it? Listen.
It doesn't. I pulled it up, but it's too old. It doesn't give it a ranking.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Blight makes right.
because the site that was hosting all that stuff is down. I
Yeah.
pulled it down, and so
Yeah, Blight makes right doesn't even pull up. That's crazy.
yeah. On of the RFP stuff, only one of the shows
Oh, no,
pulled
no.
up on that site.
Blight makes right pulls up, but doesn't have a ranking.
Yeah, I think this stuff is too old. Like that stuff hasn't had episodes in
Forever. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Even
But
though
yeah,
I bought
honestly-
Black Makes Right back, it was under a different thing. But yeah,
Honestly,
But,
like,
like-
send me your address and I'll send you some Sour Monkey.
sweet. I'm down.
It's
We'll
good.
We'll do a whole Sour Monkey.
A
episode,
Sour Monkey.
but-
We'll just call it the Sour Monkey.
Are we still on Twitch?
We are. I'll go ahead and end it. Thank you, everybody,
Thanks, everyone.
for hanging out. Can you get Australian beer other than Foster's? No, man. Foster's is the only beer that's Australian that I can get.
I'd
Rusty
have to
Brad.
look, Rusty. Like maybe there's something at one of the Bevmos and stuff up here.
If anywhere
but
you can
I
get it, it's
haven't
gonna be
looked at the
Bevmo.
location.
But like for me,
Well, we have, like,
easy.
4 or 5 different kinds of Bevmos. There's like Bevmo. There's also like Wine and More. Like we've got.
Wine and More's not bad. They typically have more because it's a bigger store in general. But like honestly, like Foster's, when you come to like American beer and like what we can get, like Foster's is like that 44 ouncer that you just want to like buy 3, 4 for like $5. Like that's really all you can get for her. If you can get Coopers, all right. I'll be on the lookout for Coopers. But I doubt I could get that. I don't know. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and end this. You like Bud Light? I don't care for Bud Light. I don't care for Coors Light. I honestly much prefer like small craft distilleries. Like this, like beer hugs, tropical beer hug is like one of like the best IPAs I've had, and I love it because it's $2.99 for a fucking 20-ouncer.
Yeah, honestly, I've like the generic middle of the road, bottom barrel, I'll just buy a Corona. Like if I'm shopping in like the Bud Light category, I'll just have a Corona.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate Corona. If I'm in
Have
the
you ever
Bud
been to
Light,
Mexico?
no. If I'm in
I
the
will
Bud
say-
Light category, I'm just gonna get Coors.
That's insulting to Corona. I will say, once you're in like the warmer southern environments, I get why Mexican beer is the way
Okay.
that it is.
Yeah. That
When
being
you're in Mexico, like their style of beer tastes better in their climate. Like it's
That-
pretty legit. Like I'm not sure I would
Man.
enjoy an IPA as much in
no.
Mexico.
So
as I enjoy
that being said, when it's like hot
Ooh,
out, if I had to pick one beer, it would be Blue Moon. Like if it's like a hot day and I'm working out in the sun, I want Blue Moon.
Nope.
It's light, it's refreshing. But honestly, like ever since I found Sour Monkey, my go-to is a Sour Monkey. Like I just like if I go to the grocery store,
I'll have a cider.
hey,
Hey, Vanna.
little creatures, chef's kiss.
Hey.
All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this long for 3 hours and 15
Peace.
minutes. We promise it won't be this long in the future, but we were doing stuff. So thanks for hanging out with us. Have a wonderful evening.